everybody, it's M-Class Podcast.
Oh, shit. It's time for another Listen to Us talk session.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
fucking
you're
amazing.
I mean, what?
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 I don't know. I didn't say anything. It was a ghost.
Ooh. We're off to a great start. I'm Jeff.
I'm Josh.
And on this podcast, we sit down with a piece of Star Trek media, so far just the movies,
Yeah.
and we talk about them at length,
Yes.
and it's fun for everybody involved. Even if you don't really know Star Trek, tell all your friends.
Yeah, tell your parents, too. They love podcasts.
Yeah, parents love podcasts. That's something they don't want you to know.
You know that song, Parents Just Don't Understand? It does not apply to podcasts. They love them.
I don't know that song. I am 12 years old.
Will Smith?
You mean the actor?
And DJ Jazzy Jeff?
Me? On this episode of M-Class Podcast, we're going to be knuckling down, finally. You've heard us complain for 10 episodes in a row about this fellow named JJ Abrams. JJ Abrams, for those who don't know, is a very talented director who's made such hit films as
Mission Impossible 3.
Star Trek.
Super Size Me.
That was him, huh? He looked real different in that movie.
Yeah. No, the one about the kids. They're the same title, but the one's about a kids.
The fat kid?
There's a fat kid in it.
And it's called Super Size Me? JJ.
That's mean.
JJ. Anyway, JJ's a piece of shit, right? And for some reason, they gave him the helm on their Star Trek reboot.
JJ Abrams, I was just saying to Jeff before the show started, is Michael Bay with better PR.
Which is absolutely true.
I think he did, what did he do? He did like, that show, that show on like ABC, Alias? Did he do Alias? I think he did.
He did Alias? That's what he built his career on?
That's what he started at, I think that was him. Abrams, producer, now it's like, oh, Star Wars, fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, he's Star Wars, man. There's actually an interview. So this is a Star Trek podcast. I'll bring it back around a little bit.
Yeah.
For a second anyway. Before we go off on another tangent.
Sure.
JJ Abrams did an interview with the guy who used to do the Daily Show.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And he said he doesn't even like Star Trek.
Yeah, he said like he was much more of a Star Wars person. He didn't never liked Star Trek. So when he got the blah blah blah, and he talked about how he grew into it or whatever, and Jon Stewart just said, you know, I stopped paying attention to everything you said the moment you said you didn't like Star Trek.
Star Trek, yeah.
Which is what everyone should have done when they were picking out directors for the Star Trek reboot.
Yeah, he did Alias, and that was like the thing that he did. Yeah. That was like his thing, right?
And he did Lost.
And he did Cloverfield, which like people fucking cummed over all over the place. Like that was like the thing.
Yeah.
And he did Lost, right? He did Lost. I don't know, man.
So they gave him the Star Trek reboot to do.
Sure.
Which is... why, right? Like, what did he do to let them think that he was capable of handling, like, I know, like, pop culture, Star Trek is seen as, like, schlocky 60s bullcrap on TV, right?
Yeah,
like, fighting rubber reptile monsters and shit.
Yeah, that's what dum-dums think Star Trek is, who don't care, like, from the flyover states. And I think that had a lot to do with it. They were like, well, we need to get a guy who the dummies will understand how to like Star Trek, and we can make fucking money, because Paramount, like, knew that this, like, wave of fucking bullshit reboots was happening.
Oh, yeah. They were going to ride that
bank.
They were going to ride that wave hard.
They wanted to make bank. And apparently none of them had seen Mission Impossible 3, which is a fucking terrible fucking movie.
I haven't seen it, so
it's
I can't
fucking horrible. Dude, I can't. I'm already getting hot. I'm getting hot right now. It's like, I can't.
Let me shift gears, because I'm going to get hot, right? I've been thinking about this for days.
Mm-hmm.
So, this movie before we even get into the fucking recap of it, the one thing about this movie series that probably burns me up the most is this movie series makes Captain Kirk out to be a despicable fucking dumb asshole.
Yeah, he's a jock. He's a fucking jock. And, like, Captain Kirk is not a jock.
No, and that's the thing. There are, like, two versions of Captain Kirk. There's the public perception Kirk and the Kirk that's actually on the program. Right,
the show that people think they know that they have seen, but haven't watched.
They've never watched it at all.
Yeah, right.
And that's the thing. That pop culture perception of Kirk only goes so far.
Right.
Because the instant you watch any media with Kirk in it, you'll learn he's not that character.
Yeah, he's not.
But
like
that's
that
not true anymore.
Right. Now he's that guy now.
Yeah. It's like the pop culture Kirk is like arrogant, hot-headed, like quick to fight. He's a dumb jock. He fucks everything that moves. All he cares about is poon hounding.
He's always banging green girls, because that's a thing that happened in the show, I think.
It probably happened, right?
I read about it on the Memory Alpha, and it said Orion slave girls, they like to fuck, so put them in the movie.
The actual Kirk is like super philosophical and thoughtful. He gets out of like every situation with diplomacy. He shows mercy to fallen enemies constantly.
Yeah.
He cares about his crew, and he loves to play chess and read literature.
Right. He reads. He quotes like Shakespeare. He quotes like fucking whatever. Like he's not an idiot.
And and they play him out to be like this dumb, arrogant, like misogynist or whatever. But there are tons of moments in a show from 1960 where Kirk is like feminist as fuck.
Yeah.
And there's like tons of moments of Kirk being like, yeah, I'm not gonna take your bigotry, you know?
Right.
But that's just not this Kirk. He's like racist as shit against Vulcans.
Yeah, but that doesn't sell the tickets for the dummies. The dummies want the blow-ups. They want to watch the ship go booms.
It just it pisses me off so bad, because like,
dude, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
There's always that person, right, when you bring up like the Kirk versus Picard debate. That's like, oh well, that's no contest at all. It's Picard because Kirk's a fucking dummy, right?
Right.
And you have not seen the original Star Trek series.
Right, not to mention, like, I'm gonna get real fucking nerdy right now. Like, not to mention that, like, that would be like comparing, like, I don't know, Abraham Lincoln with John F. Kennedy. Like, there's a lot of time in between there.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, John F. Kennedy knew about airplanes. Like, it'd be like saying, like, Abraham Lincoln was dumb because he didn't know about airplanes. Like, yeah, well, he didn't live when they existed. So, like...
You have to take shit in the time period it came in. And that's a problem I have with people that talk about the original series not breaking ground, not, like, doing much for equal rights or not doing much for, like, social justice.
Yeah.
During the 1960s, that show was fucking revolutionary. It was being threatened to be pulled off the air all the time.
Yeah, man.
For this shit.
Yeah.
And they did it anyway because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, people don't realize that, like, shit was not great when this show was coming out.
No.
The country was, like, basically headed for a civil war.
And fucking...
You know?
Like, that's my problem, though, is, like, if you thought that Kirk was a dumb fucking jock idiot and you watched anything with Kirk in it before these movies came out, you would be proven wrong within 10 minutes. Yeah. But that's not true anymore. It's just pop culture Kirk actually exists in the canon now.
I know.
And there's nothing that can be done about that anymore. Like, they try and serious him up and give him more depth and beyond, but it's fucking too late. He's still...
Well, they try to do it in this movie, too, and they do one of the stupidest fucking things. Like, this might be a good segue into, like, what happens in this shit show.
Sure.
I don't know how, honestly, I don't know how we're going to talk about this movie. Like,
I'm going to try and take it chronologically. Okay. But we can jump around as much as need be.
Well, like, okay, so they're on this ship. They're on the Kelvin, or whatever, which has one nacelle, which, okay, that's impossible. It can't go to warp then.
It looks like a fucking schooner. It's so silly looking.
It looks dumb, and that's, like, they always say, like, there has to be an even number, right? Like, that's why, like, the Enterprise, when it has the 3, is, like, a weird thing. But like, whatever. That's a Star Trek nerd thing. Whatever. I'm a Star Trek nerd.
The canonicity of this isn't as important as how fucking stupid the rest of the movie is. That's dumb as shit. And we can point out stuff like that as much as we want,
right? This movie,
we are nerds for Star Trek,
right?
But as a movie,
right? But this movie is it's a double whammy for me. It's blatantly terrible. And it's also death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh,
terrible.
Definitely.
Like
that's
there's like
exactly how I would explain it.
There's 1,000 little stupid things that add up to like the greater stupid that is the train wreck of the movie that they wrote and made.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
If you're a fan of this movie, you should probably already have turned this off, I imagine. But you should probably turn it off if you haven't.
If you're a fan of this movie, I feel bad for your children's children. Because their genetic code is tainted.
Damn. If you like this movie, you're kind of a dummy. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
It's taste. It's difference in taste.
I don't get it. I just don't get how you can like. I don't know. The more
I'm sure there are people
who
hate me now for saying
that's
that.
Fine. That's fine. That's cool. They'll love you again because you're right. Because you're absolutely right. And they'll see one day. I think one day, honestly, people. This might be better served at the end, but I think one day, 50 years from now, people are gonna look back if movies are still around, and be like, "What the hell was this shit that they were making?"
Nobody's
in this
gonna
time
remember
period.
this movie.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna remember this movie. It's like. Did you remember that there's a remake of Total Recall?
Not till you just said that.
Exactly. That is how the Star Trek movies are gonna be.
I saw it too. I don't know. It was terrible.
Yeah. That's how these are gonna be.
I know that.
That's cool. There's a robot policeman in this, which is pretty cool. But besides that,
is he a robot or
he's a robot?
Why? Why would he be?
Fuck not.
Why would he be a robot? This isn't making sense.
Because it's cooler.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's how everything in this movie works.
That's right. The robots are cooler than regular people. I forgot. Sorry, my bad.
On a scale of coolness, robots are definitely above regular people.
In this movie, the cool factor trumps the logic factor every single time. Oh yeah. It's like cool was the ace of spades, and they were drawing that shit every time they had a debate.
You're being a real robotist right now.
I just don't know why
Why was RoboCop a robot?
It would have made more sense to have RoboCop in this movie than that robot. I'd be like, oh, RoboCop's here. Okay, cool.
Fuck, sweet. How did they get the rights? Who knows? So the USS Kelvin, which the Kelvin timeline is named after.
That's this timeline.
Yeah, because JJ Abrams loves the word Kelvin. Investigates a lightning storm in space, which will be important to the plot later. And it turns out to be a black hole. Let's hit the brakes a little bit here.
Sure, we're already one sentence into this, and we're hitting the brakes. Yep.
Let's tap the brakes a little bit.
A black hole, huh?
Does the Federation not know what a black hole is?
I guess. In the Kelvin timeline, I guess they never got to one before. I don't know.
It's a special black hole, right? That's why it's
saying
a lightning
like a
storm.
Spatial anomaly, right? Instead of being like it's a weird anomaly that we don't know about, which would be a Star Trek thing.
It's a lightning storm in space.
Yeah,
and it's near Klingon space because remember Klingons?
Because they're in this universe. Just so you know, for maybe later.
The Narada shows up. It comes out of the black hole and it just starts firing.
That's the Romulan ship.
Yeah, big pointy, as I like to call it.
Romulan ship that makes no sense. Because what the fuck is it? What is it?
It looks like a Cthulhu monster.
Well, that's what they wanted. It's the Scylla in the Charybdis, right? That's the Greek myth that they're going for here.
Yeah, because Greek, Roman, who the fuck cares, right?
But they're all the same. It's the same shit. To a dumb idiot named JJ Abrams, like, fuck it. Yeah, that's the same shit. Fuck it.
So, like, the Narada, the big ship, starts shooting on the little ship, the Kelvin.
Yeah.
This will be an important theme throughout the JJ Abrams verse, by the way. Big ship shoots at little ship.
We got about two more movies of this saying this line.
And, like, they hail them, right? They hail them and
Yeah.
they're like, hey, whoever your commanding officer is, come over here on a shuttlecraft.
For some reason.
We're going to kill you if you don't.
Sure, because that's a thing. Why not?
And the captain's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
This'll be good. We'll talk it out.
I'm a dumb Starfleet man.
I don't know shit about captaining.
It's my first day. I'm on a science ship. I don't know.
So he's like, all right, George Kirk, you're a captain now.
And that's why he had to go over there. See, you can always tell you're watching a JJ Abrams movie when the reason for something happens immediately after the thing happens, and it's the dumbest thing ever.
There's no build up, it just happens.
There's no point. The point of the thing that happens after has a shallow reason for it happening, right?
Yeah.
So like
there's a setup and then the punchline immediately.
Right. And so George Kirk has to be on this ship as the captain now because
here's a question.
He has to be.
Here's the question, Josh. You are a Star Trek expert.
Sure.
Why can't George Kirk just already be the captain?
Well, George Kirk, I don't believe was a captain ever. I think George Kirk was... I don't even think he was an officer, to be honest with you. He might have been. He might have been a lieutenant when he retired or whatever, but I don't think he never got to be a captain.
So, as a Star Trek expert, why was it necessary to do anything related to the previous canon in this movie?
Well, because George Kirk has to be a hero, Jeff, and he has to die a hero, because that's how he has to do it. He has to die so his son can have daddy issues, because Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman and JJ Abrams cannot write a movie where one of the characters doesn't have daddy issues, which Captain Kirk never had. He wasn't a whiny, cryy, he just was a guy who just was that way, and that's why he was incredible, because he just was that way.
Yeah, I mean, he had tragedy in his past, right? But he wasn't defined by it. There's the whole, fucking... What was the name of the planet? Or the colony? The fucking...
I don't know.
The colony that Kodos was the governor of.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he fucking, they were running out of food, so he, murdered 4,000 people.
Right.
So that they would still be able to live, and then the Federation just brought food the next day.
Right.
So Kodos, fucked off into hiding or whatever, and Kirk saw all these people be murdered, and he still didn't let that define his life.
Right. Yeah, but,
Tarsus 4.
That's great. Nice job. Tarsus. Cool name.
I know Star Trek.
Yeah, I think you're every bit the expert I am. You know a lot more about the original series. I don't, so... But I do know that George Kirk was never a captain. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He certainly didn't die as a captain. And apparently George Kirk dying makes the entire universe change. Every bit of...
Technology changes because George Kirk got killed.
It's already fucking... crazy in this movie.
But I guess Star Trek Discovery is proving that technology was pretty banging back then.
Sure.
They just didn't change it to look all 1960s. But the captain just gets taken to Nero, and Nero just stabs him to death.
Yeah, he just kills him.
He's
with his Romulan spear. I guess they have those. Okay.
It's a spear that opens like a Klingon knife.
Yeah.
It just pops open. Whatever.
Why not? They're all bald too, I guess. Okay.
Because they're miners, I guess?
Yeah, so this is like a mining ship, right?
Yeah.
But it's from the it's actually from the STO timeline, which STO, Star Trek Online, does a way better job of explaining this than this movie does.
Oh. Do you mean supplementary materials make the movie better, Josh?
No, I mean supplementary material should have been the movie.
Yeah, that's probably true. But they're like, do you know who Ambassador Spock is? And he's like, no, I've never heard of that guy. And then Nero's like, I don't like that answer! And he stabs him.
Because he's mad about Romulus being blowed up.
And so they sacrifice the Kelvin, right? Like, Kirk becomes the captain, and he tells everybody to leave.
Yeah.
And he brought his pregnant wife with him on a space mission.
Sure.
Which you weren't allowed to do then, but whatever.
Not then, yeah. You weren't. That wasn't a thing yet.
So his wife and baby escape, and he sacrifices himself to save them.
Yeah.
And
also, it's Chris Hemsworth's brother is his dad.
I thought that was just Chris Hemsworth.
Is it Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah, that's just him.
Oh, I thought it was the other one.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's actually just Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, all those Hemsworths look the same.
Yeah, all those white guys. And because like he sacrifices himself, and they're like, well, let's name him Jim, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Peace.
He wanted to have his wife hear him die too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he just
of him.
left the fucking sound on.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you?
Why would you like shove your wife into a shuttle and then call her on the phone and be like, "Oh, by the way, like I'm still here and I'm gonna crash the ship into this big ship"? Like, you wouldn't do that probably, but okay.
It doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter. I get into nitpicking mode with this movie where like I hate it so much that I just start picking apart the little shit.
But I
too.
think again, I'm gonna reiterate that I think that this is the 1,000 cuts mentality.
Yes.
Like, there's so many things in the first 5 fucking minutes of this movie where you're like, why is this happening? Like, why?
Like there was. I'm still of the opinion that this movie is better than Into Darkness, just because Into Darkness isn't a movie. It's a fucking horrible experience.
Yeah, Into Darkness is a Jackson Pollock. Into Darkness is if Jackson Pollock wrote movies. That's what Into Darkness would be.
He just threw shit on the canvas.
And they were like, put it out. It looks like a movie.
I guess. Speaking of looks like a movie, before we do the little time skip, I know this movie gets a lot of shit for like the lens flares, but holy shit, sometimes I like can't even see. Like it's
terrible.
Constant flashing on the screen.
I didn't want to complain about it either because like I think it's become like passe to complain about it.
It's like a meme. It's like memetic or whatever.
Right, but it's terrible.
I had forgotten about it, right?
It's terrible, yeah.
If anybody complains about the lens flares or something in the Star Trek Discovery trailer, go back and watch this shit.
Yeah, there's a shot later where the Enterprise like I get like they really went crazy with the idea that space, like there's no up or down in space, and it's so fucking disorienting because they shoot like these concept shots. They computer generate these concept shots where like the Enterprise is like going like down in the frame, and then it flips. The camera flips. And then the Enterprise is going toward something upside down. And it's, like, completely fucking stupid. Like, it's like the guy didn't even, like, think about, like, oh, but these people are watching a movie, and it has to make sense, like, visually.
The thing about that. Visually, that could have been really interesting if the camera wasn't almost touching the ship.
Right. It wasn't almost touching the ship, and there wasn't a fucking super beam of light shining into my eyeball.
And it's visually, this movie is very muddled. I wouldn't put it on the same level as something like a Transformers movie where you can't tell what's happening on screen ever.
Yeah, it's like a step below that, but it's still like it's a lot is happening.
It's this. There's just shit flying at you all the time. It's not like prequel where shit's all over the prequels where shit's all over the screen at all times, but sometimes it's just constantly bombarding you with visual information.
Right, and the visual information does not add to the film and the story, which is what a motion picture is.
Yeah.
You're watching a movie of a story, a pictures in a story.
We got off track again, I think.
Let's remind everyone. Yeah. Well, let's take a break real quick.
We'll take a break and then we'll come back and actually talk about this movie, probably.
Maybe.
Excuse me, I'm interested in the new collector's ornament from Hallmark.
Ah, the shuttlecraft Galileo from the Starship Enterprise.
Precisely.
You know, it lights up when you plug it in. And listen.
Shuttlecraft to Enterprise. Spock here. Happy holidays. Live long and prosper.
Fascinating.
For a store in your sector now carrying the Star Trek ornament, call 1-800-HALLMARK.
Live long and prosper, right?
No, I'll take 5.
And we're back. Buy those products. Or don't, since it's probably going to be an advertisement for this movie.
I'm going to try not to put that in. I'm going to try real hard.
Alright, so we flash ahead 10 years.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of that going on in the next half hour of this movie.
Yeah, the next 6 hours of this movie.
So the story is, right, that Nero comes back. We don't know this yet, but I'm going to explain it right now since this is when they should have explained it or something. Yeah. Nero comes back early. He's following other Spock Prime, right?
Yeah. But he comes back arrives early. Like 25 years before he should have.
Right. So he has to wait around now.
Yeah, he just has to fucking sit on his thumb up his ass for 25 years.
But there's something that happens to him during this time that isn't in the movie.
Oh, yeah?
I think the Kelvin like fucks the Narada up when it crashes into it, and I think the Klingons come, and I think they like enslave them or something, or they take the ship over or something. I don't know because I never read the comic book that this is or whatever.
Yeah, but in the next movie, the Klingons know about the Narada, don't they? They like
So they get the ship or something, and then Nero and his crew have to like survive in like a Klingon prison, I think, for like 20 years or something. But that's not in the movie because why the fuck would it be?
Also, why the fuck would you even write that? Like, what does that add to this?
Jeff, I would love to know. I don't know.
All right. So a young boy has stolen a car, and cars are still around.
A Corvette, a 1962 Corvette? Maybe a 63.
I don't know.
I think it's a 63 or 4.
He's blasting music that we know. We know this music.
Oh, it's the Beastie Boys.
It's the Beastie Boys again. I think I talked about this once before, that the Beastie Boys are like huge Star Trek fans, but they had clauses in their contracts that said that no one would be allowed to use their music for advertising or movies.
Yeah.
But MCA died, so his contract ended. So the company that owns the rights to all their music just started selling it left and right against their wishes.
Yeah, great. Companies are great.
It's real fucking awesome that like they're a part of a franchise that they've always loved, but in every way they never fucking wanted to be.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's real awesome. But the creators of these Star Trek movies fucking love the song Sabotage.
I guess. And it shows just how much of a rebel this youngster is.
Yeah. He's, like a robot policeman shows up on a flying motorcycle.
Well, he stole his stepdad's Corvette.
Yeah, his stepdad's like... I guess we're supposed to sympathize with this kid, right? Because his stepdad's mean, but he stole a Corvette from him. Of course he's gonna be angry and mean.
He's mad about his dad being not alive anymore. Did you get it yet?
There's some other dude fucking his mom. He's mad.
Did you get that he's mad about that?
Yeah.
Did you get it?
He's not enjoying it. So, this fucking 10-year-old boy drives the car towards, which is ancient technology at this time, like hundreds of years old.
Yeah,
he
like
drives the car
200 years old.
Yeah, he drives the car towards a rock quarry and fucking jumps out of it.
Yeah.
And lets it go over it, like action hero man. Like, I couldn't do that now.
Yeah, I would die. I would just hit the ground and fucking die.
And then, like, the fucking dumbass action movie thing happens, right? That happens in every action movie.
Yep.
Like, he does something cool or whatever, and the policeman, for no fucking reason, says, "What's your name?"
What's your name? Yeah.
And he says, "My name's James Tiberius Kirk."
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
And so this is our introduction. Kirk's a shit face.
Yep.
And then we go to Vulcan, where all the young Vulcan children are in their learning pits.
They're in the clone factory on Camino.
They're turning into Jango Fetts.
Yeah, they're like little Boba Fetts.
And like, fucking, they're Vulcan bullies who come up and bully Spock. They're like,
sure, why not?
They're like, it is the appointed time for bullying again, Spock. And Spock's like, I trust you've come up with new insults today? Affirmative.
Boy. Oh, because he's a robot. Because remember? Because
Yeah.
Spock is a robot.
And they call his mom a whore, so he beats him up.
Yeah, he goes crazy.
And Sarek's like, that's not right.
Yep.
And Spock's like, why did you even marry my mom, you fucking dick? And he's like, oh, because it was logical.
So stupid.
And fucking...
It's so fucking stupid.
It is really stupid. And also, what fucking answer did you expect, Spock? You're a Vulcan. Logic is the answer to everything.
Right. If he did it, it's because it was the logical thing to do. That's how
Yeah.
your society works, dude.
Then we jump ahead again.
Okay, we're going ahead again. I think we're going ahead a little farther this time.
Yeah, now, indeterminate amount of time has passed.
Yes.
And Spock is indeterminate years old.
He's X years old.
And he's like, hey, Mom.
20?
He's like, hey, Mom, I want to do the Colonar, but I want you to know it's not because I hate your fucking guts and think humans are stupid, even though I absolutely do. And his mom's like, well, I'm still proud of you.
And his mom's Winona Ryder for some reason.
Yeah, who does not look old enough to be his mother, even though she probably is.
Winona Ryder looks great.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder looks great all the time.
She never ages.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
But, and it's like a natural thing, too. She doesn't look like she got plastic surgery at all.
No, she's beautiful. She's just
Yeah.
beautiful.
By the way, I didn't think she was as bad in Stranger Things as everybody said she was.
I love her in that.
I thought she was good.
She weirdly reminds me of my mom in that movie, in that show.
Oh.
Like, she, like, acts like when my mom gets, like, weird about stuff. Like, she's like, oh,
Freaks
no!
out.
You know? Yeah. That's like my mom.
If anybody wants to do an impression of Josh's mom, now you know. All you gotta do is go, oh no! It's very, sounds a lot like Toad from Mario.
Oh, no! Ay. Yep. That's my mom.
Spock, the logical Vulcan hero of the story, goes to the committee of the Vulcan Science Academy, and they're like, hey, you did really well, even though you're a fucking freak. And he's like, oh, well, what do you mean I'm a freak? And they're like, oh, because you have a human mother. And he's like, well, suck my dick.
Because remember when the Vulcans hated people?
Yeah.
Humans? Remember when they
called
were in the
Enterprise.
Federation and then they were like, oh, wait, but we hate humans.
Yeah.
Because we're also racist.
It was called Enterprise.
Yeah, that's Enterprise. But that's like a great story in Enterprise that gets resolved. That's like one of the things that gets resolved in Enterprise.
But yeah, Spock thanks the council, right? And he's like, thanks for everything. And then he says, live long and prosper. But he's really saying, suck my green dick.
Yeah, because fuck those guys, right?
Which is exactly what Spock would do, right?
Exactly. Spock is so mad all the time.
Yeah, he really is. And here's the thing, right? His father didn't die.
Right.
Literally nothing in his life has changed.
Yeah, he should be the same guy, the same
But he's not.
character. Of course he's not, because
He's not.
they got a guy to play him who can't act like a Vulcan.
No, he's just angry.
I have nothing against Zachary Quinto. I think Siler's a cool guy.
Yeah.
But,
At least in the first season.
right, the first season's good, but he should not, he looks like Leonard Nimoy, I guess? I don't know.
Maybe a little bit, I
Sorta?
guess.
Yeah, sure, I guess.
Nah, he didn't look anything like him.
Yeah.
But he's just as hairy, I guess. But more time passes.
Yeah, then we go ahead again. Some more going ahead. Cool.
And we meet Uhura, who's ordering a ton of drinks.
Well, they're in Iowa, remember?
Yeah.
Remember when Starfleet was in Iowa for reasons?
Yeah. Well, George Kirk died, so.
Is that why? See, I was gonna ask you this. Is that why they build the Enterprise on the land, which makes no goddamn sense?
Somebody pointed this out to me earlier. It might
Because
have
they're
been,
afraid of the Romulans. Is that why?
It might have been Tad, right? We have two fans named Tad, by the way.
That's fucking crazy.
It's fucking nuts.
I
But
don't even think there was two people on Earth named Tad.
but or else he's just fucking with me and it's the same Tad. Could be. But
Could be.
like there's a plaque on the 1701 that says built in San Francisco.
Sure.
Iowa is
Yeah.
not San Francisco.
Yes, there's a San Francisco shipyard.
Yeah,
There's
Iowa
Utopia.
is not San Francisco.
Right, there's Utopia Planitia, which is on Mars, well, above Mars, which is where the D was made. There's Corridon. There's the Corridon shipyards.
If you look at our Twitter, we actually live at Utopia Planitia shipyards.
We do. That's
where we're at right now.
That's where this ship should have been probably just made.
Probably.
I would have been okay with that.
But no,
instead,
it was made on the ground in Iowa so that Kirk could look at it.
Exactly.
Exactly. Kirk tries to get his dick wet, and Uhura's not having it.
Yeah, he's pulling some cool guy moves.
And, like, some Starfleet recruits walk up and they're like, hey, leave her alone. And he's like, nah. And then he slaps one of them in the face a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they beat the shit out of him. And, like, you're supposed to be like, oh no, Captain Kirk. But he's a fucker, man.
I think the point of this scene was... See, this is the game you have to play with these movies. What's the point of this scene, okay?
Yeah.
I think the point of this scene was there's bar fights in Star Trek. And that's as far as the thought went.
Well, it's supposed to show that he's, like... damaged, right?
Right, he's
like,
a bad guy. He's bad boy.
He's like bad boy because his dad's dead and he's sad.
Right.
But he also treats women really poorly and starts bar fights because he's a dick. He's despicable. He's like a fucking frat bro.
Right.
And if you're in a frat and you're not despicable, I'm not talking about you.
My favorite part of the scene is when they order the Budweiser Classic. Because Budweiser probably totally didn't give them money for that.
Also, when little James Kirk is driving the car, the Nokia sound happens, and then he presses a Nokia button on the car.
Because Nokia is still a company when there's no money anymore.
Money doesn't exist, but Nokia is still a fucking company.
They're still making phones, I guess, for everyone for free. Why not?
I guess. But fucking Captain Pike comes in, right? And he's like, everybody get the fuck out. And everybody's
up the place real hard.
And everybody's like, we didn't even do anything. And they leave. But then we learn about Kirk's tearjerker of a past.
Yeah, because we didn't just see it 5 fucking minutes ago.
No. And Pike's like, your father was a great man and you're a piece of shit. Yep. Except you're real smart and I love you. Please join Starfleet.
It's like completely ridiculous. Like, what the fuck? At this point in the movie, like, I'm like checked out. Like, I'm like, okay.
Like, of course, Kirk is like, Starfleet, that'll be the day. Right. And fucking Pike's like, yeah, well, your dad was a captain for 12 minutes and then died like a bitch. I challenge you to do better. I bet you. And Kirk's like, fucking, do you double dip dog dare me? And Pike's like, yeah.
And then he winks at the camera, which is crazy.
Kirk's like, fucking double dip dog dare. Oh,
I can't turn that down.
I gotta. So he gets on his motorcycle, which is a regular motorcycle, except it has like Bose fan wheels.
It doesn't have like an axle or it just runs like
anything.
It's like anti-gravity wheels or some shit.
I guess. Why doesn't it fly like the policeman's motorcycle?
Good question. Good fucking question.
There's no internal consistency even to this universe.
Cool trumps all. Cool's better than logical.
And it's like, I love motorcycles, cool? Sure. Right? That's something cool about me that you guys can all learn. I love motorcycles.
Motorcycles are great.
And that it looks alright, I guess, but a flying motorcycle is way cooler than that motorcycle. Just have him ride that.
Yeah, just have him ride like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Just have him just be there. Why does he have to ride a motorcycle?
Because it's cool. Because he's cool, Josh.
Just have him show up there.
Like, he shows up and he fucking pops a wheelie on the Grand Canyon and he fucking puts some sunglasses on and he joins Starfleet.
This is like a film school. This is like in film school when kids would like show a character driving to another scene.
Yeah.
That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. Just have the character be there. He got there. Who the fuck cares how he got there?
Yeah. And he gets on
took
the
a car.
He gets on the transport and he sees the guys who beat him up and he says, "At ease, boys." Because he's cool, right?
Dude,
coolest. And then he fucking slips a molly into a girl's drink and rapes her.
Oh my! I don't know. That must have been a deleted scene. I didn't see that one.
It's just he's fucking coming off terrible, right? And I know he's supposed to, but he doesn't get any better.
Yeah, he doesn't really learn the right lessons, right?
No.
He doesn't. It's not like Thor, the first Thor, where Thor's a brat and he's a little bitch, and his daddy takes his hammer away. And then he has to earn it again, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in this movie. He just
No.
is this way, and then he comes out smelling like roses.
Yeah, he is this way, and he doesn't mature any. Maybe a little tiny bit, and then he's still a dickhead at the end of the movie. He's still... Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
He technicalities his way. Yeah. We'll
yeah, he
we'll
fucking gets through on a technicality hardcore.
We'll get there.
But he meets McCoy, who...
Is the only good actor in the movie.
the only enjoyable part in the entire film.
Because he's great. Because he's fucking great.
I fucking love Carl Urban in
Carl
everything
Urban
he's ever been in.
Is phenomenal. He's great.
And he has a great line where his wife won everything and it won the planet in the divorce, so he's joining Starfleet.
Great line. That is a great line.
Great. But the rest of the movie's terrible. The end.
You should turn the movie up here at the high point when Carl Urban comes in.
Then we get another jump ahead.
There's more
right?
time. It's 4 years later or 3 years later.
It's
or whatever.
3 years later because he says I can do it in 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that pays off immediately.
Sure.
And Nero sees Spock come out of the black hole, and then he's like, yeah, and then the scene ends.
Yep. That's exactly what happens.
And then it's at the Starfleet Academy, and Kirk's gonna take the Kobayashi Maru because remember?
Because that's in the movies, guys. It's in the movie films from when the 80s were.
But then Kirk's like, I'm gonna pass it this time. And here's a little bit of Kirk character building moments, right?
Right.
He turns around at every woman he passes and makes a pass at him.
Yep. He's a fucking they would not put up with this in a society where enlightened sexual attitudes exist.
No. He's not meeting somebody he likes and being friendly and both of them being yeah, let's touch dinks or whatever.
Right.
He's just fucking being hey, I'm gonna fuck you at ladies.
But Jeff, they're in Enterprise High School.
Ba, 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 ba.
This is a high school movie at this point.
Yeah.
And it's a shitty high school movie.
It's like a fucking... It's
a
like
CW
Animal
show.
House.
It's Animal House, man.
Because it immediately jumps to him fucking an Orion girl.
Right, because remember, they're sluts. And they're in Starfleet, I guess? Alright, sure. Why don't you just have him fucking a Romulan? I don't know.
Here's the funny part about Orion slave girls, right? Is that the entire idea behind them is that everybody's oh my god, these poor women, the men on their planet are forcing them to be slaves, slaves.
But they're it's a matriarchy. Yeah,
they're the ones that control the planet, and it's all a front to get information for their criminal organization.
Yeah, they're mobsters. They're just gangsters.
But there's one in Starfleet now, whatever.
Sure, because
it's different because George Kirk died.
George Kirk died, and a little Orion girl was like, maybe I should join Starfleet.
It's ripples, man. It's the butterfly effect.
It's the butterfly effect.
But Kirk hides into the bed, and of course there's a joke about the Orion girl being a slut. Mm-hmm. Even though Kirk is a huge dickhead to her.
Right, again, enlightened sexual attitudes. Maybe they wouldn't insinuate that, because maybe in the future people just have sex with each other and it's totally fine.
Yeah, and nobody's a weirdo about it.
Yeah, nobody's all puritanical and stupid about it.
Yeah. But anyway, Uhura comes in and she gets almost naked because
movie. Because Uhura is Zoe Saldana, who is very attractive, and
people need to beat off in the theater, right? So
yeah, well, we have to put the titties in it. We can't have any titties.
There were already titties in it. The Orion girl shows huge cleavage.
My favorite part of this scene is when she's laying on the bed a fucking Playboy pinup, talking to Uhura. It's
which is what women do.
It's what the fuck universe? Okay, so whatever. Like
enlightened sexual attitudes.
Right. That then it's okay, but when it's like she's fucking a dude, then it's not okay.
No, that's not cool. But Uhura is describing... She just gets naked, right? Like, why? Well, do you just hang out in your underwear with your roommate?
When I would go back to my dorm in college, I just would let my dicks, like, fly out as soon as I walked in the room, and I'd just start talking about stuff to my roommate.
Yeah, and
with my dick out.
She's like, I decoded some Klingon transmissions, and 47 battle cruisers were destroyed near a prison planet. And they're like, oh, that's interesting.
It's so fucking stupid. It's like an Easter egg within a fucking hidden message in a movie. Like, you're supposed to just, like...
They don't care, is the thing. Like, this is fucking universe-changing news.
Right. If 47 American ships were sank tomorrow, we'd be like, holy motherfuck.
Like, we're not England, right? But if, like, fucking England had... like planes flying around and 47 of them were destroyed, you'd bet your ass people would be like, what?
Yeah, it would be talked about.
But Uhura discovers him and kicks him out because she didn't like him.
We haven't talked about Uhura yet and how Uhura is named Uhura but isn't Uhura.
They do like the pop culture versions of characters. It's not the actual versions, but they don't do any version of Uhura.
Well, she's the sitcom mom version of Uhura. She's the boys are stupid and I'm real smart and real mean to them.
Yeah, I have an attitude and I get what I want.
Right, and it's like, but like it's the 2200s and like there's no war anymore and like people don't act like this anymore. So like
there's no sexism anymore.
Right.
Which would be
doing
fucking
that.
Awesome.
It would
but, in this movie there is. So forget about that future. It doesn't
because George Kirk
anymore.
died. There's still sexism.
Yeah.
George Kirk was holding he was like Atlas of sexism, just holding up like everyone.
He was fucking blocking the sexism from getting into the universe, and then he died.
Fucking selfish prick.
He was very handsome, I guess.
I guess. Sure.
I guess handsomeness can stop it.
Yeah.
So fucking Kirk does the Kobayashi Maru, and he's a giant cunt.
Yeah, and he eats an apple, because fuck it.
He loves apples, and he hacks the system, right?
Yeah,
and they're
hacks
like,
the Gibson.
And I'm not even gonna describe this scene. He just fucking hacks the whole simulation, and he wins.
My favorite part is when the lights turn off and the power goes out, and then it comes back on, just so you know that something happened.
Yeah. It couldn't just be that he... Here's a question. Why does hacking a simulation make the lights go off?
Because the dummies who live in Kansas don't know what's going on.
Fuck yourself, Kansas!
The dummies on the flyover states don't know about computers, Jeff. And they don't know about Star Trek. So we have to make sure that people who don't know about Star Trek understand that means something happened to the computer.
What's a computer? The lights go out? Something happened.
Here's what you do to avoid that. Take this scene the fuck out of the movie and don't write it in.
Yeah. It's like he's supposed to be an outsider, right? Like, all this Starfleet stuff is too weird for me. I need a normal guy.
Right, but it's like...
a normal guy like me who drinks beer and tries to fuck women against their will.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yep.
And so they take him before a hearing, and Tyler Perry is like, "You did a bad thing, Kirk."
Dude, at this point in the movie, like you gotta be like, what is going on right now? Because like, look, I don't have anything against Tyler Perry. I don't like Tyler Perry movies, but like, whatever, that dude can make whatever movie he wants. Like, but you're like, why is Tyler fucking Perry in this fucking movie right now?
Yeah, that was the question I had. I guess maybe he just really likes Star Trek, and he was like, "Hey, can I be in your movie?"
I think he did, and this was 2009, so he was like he was pretty popular.
He was like, "I've made $70 billion. Can I be in your movie?"
That dude made more movies in 2009 than the porn industry made movies in 2009.
No doubt.
He makes like 20 movies a year.
He's fallen off since then, but like, fucking look up his IMDb and look how many movies he made in the 2000s.
It's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
But fucking Spock made the simulation this time because George Kirk died. And Spock is like...
Also, he gives it to what's-her-name in Star Trek 6, so...
Yeah.
He gives it to...
So it's like that movie.
Yeah, so remember that movie? But this is this movie. But remember that movie. They want you to remember that movie.
Spock's mad that Kirk cheated because Spock has a lot of emotions. He's a very emotional character.
He would get mad about something like this, sure.
And he's very petty. He's very petty. That's how Spock has always been. If you watch the original series, Spock is very angry and petty.
Yep. He holds grudges.
This is different. This is a different universe because George Kirk died.
George Kirk died, and also this is a high school. Starfleet Academy, the premier scientific and space exploration / military organization in the fucking universe.
Is a high school.
Is a high school
and
now.
Spock is a bully.
Yep.
Actually, no. Kirk's the bully. Spock's like the nerd who Kirk fucked his test up.
Yeah.
In front of the girl he likes.
Yeah.
And now he's mad about it.
He's mad about it. It's fucking high school, man.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a fucking distress signal, maybe?
Sure. Let's just call it that. It's a everyone go do a ship now. Why not?
Yeah,
I guess you graduated.
There's a distress signal from Vulcan, and they're like, all right, the fleet is in the Laurentian system?
Yeah.
Or the Laurentian
The
system?
Lawrence
The
system.
Martin Lawrence system.
That's it. That's the word.
And they're like, all right, Academy cadets are now going to be dispatched to all the ships.
Yeah, they get precedent service. Because sure.
Did you send every ship in the Starfleet to one system?
That's pretty dumb. Yeah, because 7 of them show up to Vulcan, so I don't know.
What could possibly be happening there?
Dude, you know how I know that people who don't know anything about tactics made this movie? Because this right here. They don't just send all the ships to one place and then they hide them there. And that's not how it works.
If you can think of a reason that every ship in Starfleet would be sent to the Laurentian system, please write in to mclassemail@gmail.com and let me know.
Does it have to do
even when the fucking Dominion War was happening and they did the last push, not every ship in the fleet was there.
Yeah. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it at all.
Jesus.
I put all it's called putting all your always bet on black.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
It's
putting all your eggs in one basket.
Putting all your eggs on bet on black. That's what it is.
Yeah, and then your eggs get fucked up and you get nothing. You got no chickens.
You're fucked.
Dipshit. Now your whole family's gonna starve during the winter.
Yep, that's what that comes from. Let's take a break.
Yeah, let's take a break. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Mr. Spock!
My search for something super chocolatey has led me here.
Must be my delicious Cocoa Pebbles.
Fascinating.
They're yours if you take me on the Enterprise.
Mega chocolatey taste.
Feed me up. Dino? Barney, my pebbles!
Warp speed ahead.
Those Cocoa Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast.
And we're back with more of a really great film that you should definitely go see right now.
The Goonies.
The Goonies, starring Robert Orci.
Roberto Orci.
Is it Orci?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Fuck it. I bet that kid got beat up. Anyway, or I fucking hope so anyway.
On Vulcan. That's where he drew his inspiration for that scene.
So they go to the USS Enterprise. There's a whole scene where Uhura is like, I didn't get put on the ship I want. I'm indignant. Put me on my ship.
Like it's midget football and her kid didn't get to play running back. So she goes to the coach and says, why does my kid get to play running back? That's the best position. And then Spock...
Put me on the ship I what, Spock?
Spock, why would you put me on the Enterprise?
Am I not the best one you know, Spock? Do I not give you the poon, Spock? And then Spock's like, you could be on whatever ship you want, I guess.
The
Whatever.
irony of this scene is like so ridiculous because he's like, I was trying to appear impartial.
And then he gives her the ship she wants.
Right. And he does exactly the least impartial thing ever by like caving into her like crazy demands to be put on a ship. Also, this is the fucking military, for fuck's sakes. We're in military mode now. You don't just get to be like, can I be on the Enterprise instead of the Farragut?
I guess so.
Like, there's like a whole fucking procedure for that shit, dude.
So, like, even in this movie, we see that the Enterprise now has 2, like, communications officers on the bridge because she has to relieve a guy. Does the Farragut not have any?
Yeah, they're like, they go to Vulcan and they're like, communications, hail Vulcan, and there's just a shot of an empty chair spinning. It's just spinning around, and they're like,
And they
oh
go-
no, where's
they go,
Aurora? And they blow up because everyone dies.
Yeah, what a happy, fun movie.
Star Trek.
What an
remember?
exciting, fun movie. Everyone dies.
Yeah.
But Kirk he's not allowed to go because he's in trouble. He got sent to the principal's office, so he can't go on the field trip.
He's Harry Potter. He didn't get his note signed.
But McCoy's like, I'm going to take you anyway, for some reason.
Yeah, I think Kirk says, come with me or something.
Or no, McCoy says, come with me.
Oh, he does.
Yeah,
okay.
he's like, Kirk, I got an idea, come with me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why? Leave him. He's not allowed. You're going to get
Again,
thrown out of Starfleet.
Because remember in Star Trek 2 when they say he's allergic to that stuff that helps your eyes?
Yeah.
Well, now it's in this
Really?
movie.
That's it?
That's the stuff, yeah.
Jesus.
The Retinax or whatever.
Yeah,
he gives him
Retinax.
Retinax.
Jesus. He fucking injects him with it, and his hands turn into balloons.
He almost kills him. He almost puts him in like a fucking, what is that? Like that fucking, I forget the word for it, where allergic reaction kills you.
Oh, yeah. Jesus.
What is the name for that?
I don't know the name for that.
Oh my god. I'm gonna look it up.
There's a joke in this movie that might be racist.
That's a surprise.
I'm not sure.
Anaphylaxis, that's the name.
Anaphylactic shock. That's
Yeah.
what it was. But they're like all the ships take off, right? And Sulu like accidentally leaves the parking brake on.
Yeah, it's a little not the character to be making that joke with.
Is that like an Asian driver joke?
I never got that. Like, I didn't think that, but now that you mention it, I'm gonna say, fuck it, sure, yeah, it is, because this movie fucking blows.
God damn, Orsi and Kurtzman are racists.
I always got it more is because he's like a good pilot, but he's a dummy now because he's a kid.
Yeah,
he doesn't know how to do it.
He has to make a mistake, right?
Because they're in high school and they can't do anything. They're dumb.
But he's not, right? He's not. I guess he is. They're all cadets, right?
Yeah,
he
they're
calls him
all
lieutenant.
I guess they get like ranked based on their like, year.
Field,
I guess
they get like field ranks or something, maybe.
Yeah.
But Chekhov is there, and he orders Chekhov to make a mission broadcast because it'll be funny if he talks in his weird accent.
Because he's Russian. Because that's funny.
It's funny he has a weird accent.
Because people in the 2200s would totally give a shit about that.
Kirk hears about the lightning storm, and he's like, "But that's how my dad died."
Oh no, I know about space lightning.
Fucking space lightning.
I studied space lightning in my free time down in the high school academy that I went to.
Just a minute ago, but now that's forever ago.
That was a lifetime ago, Jeff.
But he runs to talk to Uhura, who he knows is on the ship somehow.
Because it's psychic. Because they wrote it that way. Because he just knows.
And he's like, Uhura, my hands are balloons. Let me tell you about shit. And she's like, oh my god, your hands are fucked up.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is lightning storm in space, and it does have to do with the Klingons exploderating.
That we didn't get to see, because that would have been in the movie, and it would have helped us understand stuff.
No, that means nothing to us.
Doesn't matter. Go get the comic book at your local comic book day.
The Narada is drilling on Vulcan? No, that hasn't happened yet. Kirk goes to the bridge. Kirk goes to the bridge and he's like, Captain Pike, I have to tell you about the lightning in space. And Pike, who loves the guy, right? He loves him more than life itself, is suddenly like, Kirk, you're a fucking bastard. I hate you.
he's like so hot and cold with this guy, dude. It's crazy.
Wants to fuck him, I guess. But,
maybe, I don't know.
They're all like 6 people are like, well, Kirk's right, Captain Pike. And Pike's like, we're still going.
We have to go to Vulcan anyway, because this is what we have to go do.
And they come out of warp and just get fucked up immediately.
Yep. Great plan, guys.
Good job listening to Kirk.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to warp right in and blow up. And by the time there's so many ships in the sky, the Narada won't be able to see more ships coming in.
Yeah, they won't be able to move. They'll be surrounded by destroyed ships.
The governor lady said, send in more trains.
Okay, so they...
I have a question.
Okay.
Are we at the part where they're drilling into Vulcan yet?
No.
Okay, keep going.
We're not there yet.
Because I have a whole thing about this.
So the Romulans, Nero's fucking shit. This movie, Nero calls up Pike on his telephone, right? And and Pike's like, "You're doing an act of war, and Romulus ain't gonna like it." And
right?
Nero's,
we can sit down and talk about it.
Yeah,
sure.
And Nero's like, "Well, I don't have anything to do with Romulus," and nobody listens to him when he says that because they talk about not starting a war with Romulus later.
Yeah. Well, they probably were too busy sucking in this movie to have paid attention to that.
True. And he's like, Pike, you have to come over to my ship for negotiations.
Seen this before.
And Pike's like, I've never read any mission logs at all related to this, so I guess I'm gonna come over.
There aren't a billion Starfleet regulations that say, do not go to the ship as a hostage.
Yeah. We want the captain as a hostage. Okay. But he's like, I need some hand-to-hand combat trained officers. And Sulu's like, I have it. And he's like, all right, Kirk, you come with me because you're not supposed to be here.
Right. Also, Captain Pike asks Sulu where he learned how to fight. And Sulu winks at the camera and says, in episode whatever of season 2 when I fought with a fucking fencing thing.
Yeah.
Because
it gets dumber. It gets dumber. But I wanna take a minute to have anyone on Earth who's listening to this just speak into your microphone, I'll hear it, to tell me what the fuck that line means. Kirk, you come with me because you're not supposed to be here anyway.
Yeah. Like, does that mean he's expendable? Does that mean, like...
Does that mean Pike's an idiot and he doesn't follow regulations at all?
I think it means that they needed a reason for him to go with them. I think that's what it means.
He wrote himself into a corner and he was just like, fuck it, Pike asked him to come.
They write themselves into about 55 more corners in this movie, so...
So Pike's like, alright, Spock, you're the captain. You're in charge.
Why not?
Kirk is the first officer.
Okay.
Why?
He likes him now again.
He loves him.
He wants him to be his son now.
Dude, I never got laid in my life, so you're my son now.
Like it would be interesting if there was like, I mean, it wouldn't be interesting. Like, this is just me like spitballing here, which is terrible to do when you talk about movies. But like, maybe Pike like lost a son or something. Like, there's like no reason for him to do this. Like, he feels bad for him or some shit. Like,
was he friends with George Kirk? Did he say that?
Like, no. Like, that's the thing. Like, did he know him? Like, did he go to school with him? Like, that would make more sense. Like, then, you know, you get a little bit of that Pulp Fiction thing going on where it's like, I delivered your dad's watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, that'd be great if that happened in this movie.
That would be cool. I'd be like, this is the greatest movie ever now.
So they take the I'm having trouble keeping up with this. They take the shuttlecraft over to the Narada. Pike does. And from space, they drop 3 men in suits to the surface towards the surface of the planet.
But Jeff, that's not all. It will happen again in the next movie.
Oh boy. So there's a drill platform. The Narada is drilling into the planet with a laser.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Henderson.
Okay, so you have this this red matter that makes a black hole.
Yes.
Sure, fuck it, why not? I guess.
Yes.
Whatever. Why the fuck would you need to drill inside of a planet to make a planet get sucked up by a black hole? Why wouldn't you just make the black hole next to the planet and then the planet would get sucked up?
Here's another question that I'll follow that up with. You have a laser that can cut through a planet.
Yeah.
Why does it need a really long tube?
Right. Why isn't it just a laser that shoots from space? Because it's a laser.
No, you need a really long metal tube.
With spikes all over it for some reason.
Badass.
Dude, none of this makes any fucking sense.
So they do an orbital skydive, which is a real thing, I guess.
Yeah, well, now it is because that guy did.
Yeah. So like a fucking red shirt dies because remember?
Yeah, funny. There's some funny parts of this movie sprinkled in with all the stupid.
So fucking... Like, not only does he die, but, like, he like, really wants to die. Like, he just seems like he has a giant death wish.
Yeah, he's like those guys who, like, base jump and they pull their parachutes too late and, like, everyone dies all the time from doing that. He's like that guy.
He is that guy. He literally is that guy. But in a brilliant move, they sent 3 guys down, and he's the only one who had any explosives on him to destroy the platform.
Right.
So
that was a smart idea because that guy's guaranteed to live.
Yeah, there's definitely weren't expecting anyone to die on this mission.
On this crazy dangerous mission.
So Sulu and Kirk, fist and sword fight.
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Henderson.
Why didn't they, instead of base jumping out of the Enterprise, why didn't they just spacewalk to the part of the platform that was still in space and put the bombs on that part and then blow it up?
Because it's not cool. You gotta fucking skydive and fucking get extreme. You fucking you play some fucking black metal and they jump out of space.
to put a black hole inside of a planet.
Dude, my dick's so hard.
When they could just put a black hole fucking next to the fucking planet.
Anyway, a bunch of shit happens, who cares? And they put red matter into the center of the planet.
Yeah.
And Spock's like, oh no, my fucking family and the Vulcan Council. So he beams... No, wait. Kirk and Sulu jump off.
They fight on the thing. Yeah.
They fight on the thing and then they fall off because they drop it or whatever. And Sulu doesn't have a parachute. Kirk's parachute fails.
They gotta be beamed dramatically.
They gotta be beamed out, and Chekhov runs around like a crazy person.
They needed something for this character to do now, so he had to do it.
And they beam back, and then there's only one room in the whole Enterprise where you can transport.
Yeah, you can't do it from like every computer. Just every computer.
So fucking like Spock goes to the same room and gets on the transporter immediately.
Yeah. And
he says, beam you to the surface of the planet. And they're like, and Kirk's like, are you crazy? And the person running the transporter's like, where? And Spock's like, no, beam me down now. And the guy's like, alright, I guess.
Sure.
Just beams him down.
I just killed my superior officer. Why not? That won't come back to haunt me.
And he beams down, and he goes into the Vulcan prayer room. I don't know what it is.
Mount Saleya.
Is it?
I think it's Mount Saleya. It's where they keep all the shit, all their Vulcan shit.
He calls it something else, doesn't he?
I don't know.
The Kotric Arc.
Yeah, the Katras are there, which are like Jedi holocrons for Vulcans.
Yeah. It's Jedi holograms, whatever. And they fucking... He leads them out, and a bunch of them get crushed to death because everybody has to die in this movie.
Yeah, they got crushed under the big stones.
Undone by their own hubris.
Their Vulcan hubris.
Those fucking Vulcans are so arrogant. But his mom dies.
Yeah, and Vulcan also dies, which is awesome, because now there's no Vulcan anymore.
There's no Vulcan.
Great.
There are 10,000 Vulcans left.
Great, that's great.
And,
Thank God.
His mom's dead, and apparently that's more important.
That's
plot, really.
That's how they can learn to like each other now, because their parents are dead.
Yeah.
It's like as stupid as
And then they kiss.
they do kiss. It's as stupid as in the Batman Superman
where
movie.
their mothers are named Martha.
It's the same fucking thing. It's the same fucking thing.
Dude, and then we get an acting captain's log.
Nice. Finally, some Star Trek shit's happening.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm a member of an endangered species now.
Yeah.
Because I had to tell you that.
Right. Dude, I don't even want to get into how stupid it is that Vulcan is destroyed. Like, I guess, like, that was the thing they needed to do, I guess. I don't know.
Like, there's this symptom in movies, right, where every sequel in every movie series has to trump the one before it.
Yeah.
Has to be more crazy.
More crazy, right.
But this was the first one in this series.
Right.
And they're blowing up fucking planets.
They're
and
blowing
shit.
their wad, dude. And, like, Vulcan is an important fucking place.
Yeah.
And you can't just blow it the fuck up, because then it's not Star Trek anymore. If you blow up one of the planets that things take place on all the time.
This ain't your granddaddy's Star Trek.
Oh, it sure isn't. It's
Planets
nobody's
fucking
Star Trek.
explode.
Fucking... Good God. We didn't even talk about... Well, we're not there yet. I'll wait. I'll wait.
We're not there yet. We'll make it. Uhura tries to fuck Spock in an elevator.
Yeah, now's the time for that.
Yeah, his mom died, and she's like, what can I do for you? And he's like, just do your fucking job. And she's like, all right.
Sure.
And that scene needed to happen.
Yeah.
And
because he's not gay. Did you get it yet? That
You need to
Spock
know
is not gay?
he's got a case of the not gays.
The guy who plays him is a gay man, but
Yeah.
we don't want the dummies to get confused and think Spock is gay, so we'll have him kiss Uhura a lot.
He has to be in a relationship with Uhura.
Yeah.
Fun fact, in Star Trek V, it seems like Scotty and Uhura are starting a relationship.
Like, they were, like, fucking or some shit.
Yeah. So, just hook Uhura up with whoever. Just whatever.
Yeah, she's just a girl. Just give her to whoever.
She is girl character.
She's girl Smurf. Just run a train on her.
She's girl Smurf, yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
Nero wants the security codes for the Earth's defense system. And,
that's why they captured... I was trying to think why they captured...
Pike's like, nah.
Yeah.
And Nero explains his backstory to Pike, but doesn't tell him he's from the future, so he just seems like a crazy man.
Yeah, he's just rambling. Like, if I was Pike, I'd be like, what do you mean Romulus exploded?
Well, he does. He's like, you're confused. Like, Romulus is still out there right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he's like, no.
Yeah. It's like the movie is like folding in on itself at this point, honestly, because it's like Romulus, like, it's the character of Pike is trying to tell Nero that there still is a Romulus, and you're supposed to get from that Pike is telling Nero that you could still live a life there, but Nero's like, I'm fucking pissed, fuck you, because I'm from a different timeline that's better than this one.
Yeah, but he doesn't tell him that.
He doesn't tell him that. No,
my
doesn't.
planet's destroyed. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's what we call the wheels are flying off of the movie, dude. Like, at this point, it's terrible.
And he picks up a Centaurian slug. Because, remember?
Alpha Centauri.
Remember
Alpha Ceti.
Wrath the Khan?
Ceti Alpha.
And he doesn't put it in his ear, though, and he doesn't take the slug out of it. He just puts the whole thing down his throat.
Right.
And it's going to go to his brain somehow?
They're smart. They'll find out how to go.
They'll figure
They'll go there.
He'll follow the tubes. He'll get there eventually.
It's all just tubes down there. There's always a way.
Spock's like, the Narada's from the future. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, alright.
They just accept this. They're just like, sure, that makes sense.
Nobody's like, how did you fucking figure that out, Spock?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, nobody asks. They're just like, okay.
Yep. Because we gotta go to the next thing.
Spock's like, let's rendezvous with the fleet. And Kirk's like, no, let's chase after it, kill it. And Spock being not an idiot, is like, a million ships just got destroyed. What are we gonna do about it?
Right, yeah, what
And
the
then
fuck?
Kirk tries to fist fight 2 security guards and gets Vulcan neck pinched.
Yeah. There's a Star Trek thing.
And then
Take
they
a drink. There's a Star Trek thing.
You would leave this movie sober if you were drinking every time there was a Star Trek thing.
You might have had half of a beer.
And then they fire him off in a pod at a planet.
They fucking click. Also, here we go. Okay, here we go with the JJ Abrams shit. Okay. I don't know what fucking planet this is. I don't know if it's the moon of Vulcan, which Vulcan has no moons, by the way.
Oh, apparently it is Delta Vega, another planet in Vulcan's system.
Okay, but it's so fucking close to Vulcan, I can see it like a Skyrim moon in the sky. Okay. Because
Yeah.
JJ Abrams doesn't know how big space is. I got it. I
mean, if you look up right now, you can see Mars hanging up above us, gigantic in the
It's
sky.
just so big,
so
yeah. Venus is like the closest planet to us, and it looks like a star, but, you know, whatever.
Whatever, it's different in Vulcan's space.
Because space is fucking huge.
Look, Josh, George Kirk died, so space got way closer.
That makes sense. That makes so much
You're not
sense.
even following this movie. You're not even trying.
Are you paying attention or not?
Kirk's on a planet. He's on Hoth, and he gets chased by a Wookiee, and then a bigger Wookiee jumps out and kills the smaller one. And it chases Kirk into a cave, and it's gonna eat him. And it looks like the Cloverfield monster, wink wink.
Yep, remember that thing from the movie?
And then old Spock shows up and he's like, "Hey, Kirk,
Spock
it's me.
Prime.
It's me, old Spock." And Kirk's like, "I don't know you."
Yeah, fuck off, old man.
And
That's
he's
what
like,
he says.
He's like, "No, it's me, old Spock." And Kirk's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I'm just gonna Vulcan mind meld with you." And he shows him.
I'm just gonna cheaply explain to you who I am in a cheap, shitty way, so the movie can keep going.
I'm gonna Vulcan mind meld with you, which I don't fucking care if he Vulcan mind melds with him, but he's like, he's fucking like, I'm gonna Vulcan mind meld with you and show you the scene that should have been like 20 scenes earlier than this in the movie.
Right. That it's such a cheap cop out. It's like they reshot this part because they were like, well, we need to explain this, so how do we do that? Well, have a mind meld with them and we'll show it. Brilliant, Orky. This is why they pay you the big bucks. Now go write Transformers 2. He's like, I did yesterday. It took me a day to do it. And they're like, good job, Orky.
Yeah, fuck that movie to take a day. Get out of here.
It took 2 hours to write that.
Yeah. It tells the whole thing that Josh already told you that happens earlier.
Which is what is it?
The red matter destroys Romulus. They end up going through the tunnel together.
I want to talk about this. Okay, so in this movie, the explanation for Romulus exploding is a star, which I believe is named what is it? It's a star that's
what a
not
weird name.
It's not the star that Romulus orbits around, right? Revolves around.
It's just a star.
It's a star that's in Romulan territory, but it's not the Romulus star. So it explodes. Okay, it goes supernova. Sure. All right. Stars do that fucking all the time. And then immediately destroys Romulus, which is light years away.
Well,
again,
George Kirk died, so stars exploding go way faster now.
They go faster than the speed of light, apparently. Yeah, that's crazy.
Light goes faster than the speed of light now. Which explains all those lens flares.
Dude, so in the video game, they explain it better by saying that it creates like a subspace ripple, which then destroys Romulus. That's all they had to do.
I can handle that.
That's all they had to do, right?
Is that the video game where you play as it's like a co-op Uncharted with Kirk and Spock?
No, it's the Star Trek Online.
Oh.
There's a whole storyline about this. Like, you go and you figure out who the star exploded for a reason. Like, Romulans were fucking with shit and it fucks everything up. and like you have to like arrest the lady like who does it and stuff. It's like crazy.
So Star Trek Online, like Romulus is fucked. It's gone.
It's gone, yeah. And there's a new Romulus, and it's part of. So Romulus is split. It's a split faction. So you can play as an Imperial Romulan, which is like the status quo Romulans, or you can play as the Romulan Republic, which is like a self-made like Federation type. They're allies with the Federation.
Oh
shit.
yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Detan. Do you remember Detan from?
Yeah.
He's the leader of the Romulan Republic.
Oh wow.
So
Star Trek Online sounds better than 09 already.
Yeah, it is.
Just from me hearing that,
it explains it like really well, and it's a cool story. Like, it's just neat. I don't know, man.
So in this flashback, I wanted to touch on this. Spock, like apparently a tiny little dollop, like a dollop of daisy of red matter,
Yeah,
can create a singularity. Can
Sure.
cause a black hole.
Right.
Spock has like 20 beach balls worth in his tiny little ship. Why did he bring all that? What possible reason could he have to have that much of?
I don't know.
It's like, I am going to go and I'm going to shoot a target. I'm going to drive over, I'm going to shoot one bullet and shoot a target at the shooting range.
Right.
I'm going to bring every bullet I've ever owned in an entire lifetime. Like, what the fuck?
The name of the system, by the way, is the Hobus system. Thank you. I found it.
Okay. Thank you, Internet.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just nothing at this point. At this point, I'm like fully checked the fuck out. Like, I got up at this point. I think I went and I like got a drink, and then I got some chips. I think I ate some chips, and then I came back and I pet my cat because like I'm like done. Like I don't even know like in the movie like what's happening right now.
There were periods of time when I really thought about just not watching the rest of it and just winging it from a certain point on, but I sat through all of it.
Yeah, I finished it too, which cool.
Old Spock finishes his touching speech to Kirk, and he gives him all the information he needs, and he's like, I can't meet myself because it'll cause fucking...
Even though it won't, because we're in a different universe now.
Yeah,
but okay.
It'll cause a paradox if I meet myself because
Sure.
of time travel. And Kirk's dumb as fuck, so he's like, all right. And so they go to the fucking shit.
They go to they're on this planet, right? They're on whatever Tau Dewa, whatever the fuck this planet is. I don't know.
Delta Vega.
Sure.
Tau Dewa.
Tau Dewa. And they find like an underground base there, I guess.
Well, they mention that like very offhandedly. Like the little machine in the pod is like, there is a Federation outpost 14 kilometers from here. Please wait to be taken there into custody.
Right.
So they go there, and Scotty's there.
Finally, he's in the movie.
He's here, and he has a terrible little monster who's his best friend.
They needed to sell some toys, so they gave him a friend.
They gave him an Ewok.
They gave him a Jar Jar Binks, which is something that Simon Pegg hates, which is ironic.
Yeah, well, they gave him. He's an Ewok. He's like a little Ewok.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Scotty got exiled to this terrible fucking planet because he beamed a beagle somewhere. The Admiral's beagle.
Yeah,
Admiral Archer's beagle.
Admiral Archer, who's been dead for fucking 50 years. How fucking old is Admiral Archer? This is 2250. The Enterprise took place in 2154.
Also,
he was 40 years old.
Is it Porthos? Is he still alive?
I think Porthos is. I think it's supposed to be Porthos. Like, that dog's old as fuck, and so is Admiral Archer, dude.
No doubt.
Also, he'd be President Archer because he's the fucking president.
Yeah, oldest dog in history.
Jesus Christ, this movie is so infuriating.
Susp-
Like, if you're gonna use references, you gotta, like, look and see when they existed in the fucking universe, dude.
It doesn't matter. None
God
of this
damn
matters.
it, I'm so hot right now.
Fucking old Spock's like, you have to tell young Spock that he's a bitch, and he'll get mad and he'll fight you.
Sure, why not?
Because I don't like being called a bitch, so he doesn't either. And Scotty, who's real cool with all this shit, right? He's like, he's totally cool with it. Is like gonna trans-warp beam them from Delta Vega onto a ship. And here's the thing, you're a dumb audience member, right? You don't know shit about Star Trek.
Yeah.
This seems just as plausible as anything else, right?
Sure.
But in the universe of Star Trek,
It's
this
impossible.
makes absolutely no fucking sense.
It's universe breaking. That's why they don't do it.
Yeah.
It breaks. If you can just do this, why would you need a ship? You can just beam people anywhere.
The whole problem with this is, like, it breaks the universe. Like, you can just beam wherever and beam anything anywhere. You don't need to go anywhere or do anything.
It's a cheat code. It would be a cheat code for the whole universe.
Yeah.
There would be no point in having ships. There'd be no point in beaming, like wouldn't be hard. You would just be like, well, we just could do it. Fuck it. You know?
So they beam onto the Enterprise, and because this is a JJ Abrams movie, there has to be an action scene.
Yeah.
They can't just beam on board and then, like, get caught by the fucking security officers. There has to be this ridiculous tube action scene.
It's very Spielberg-esque in a bad way.
That's the thing. During a lot of scenes in this movie, I was like, if this was an Indiana Jones movie or something, this would be fine.
Well, that's
but
what
it's
he
not.
wants. He's the self-proclaimed heir to Steven Spielberg, but he doesn't make good movies like Steven Spielberg.
No.
Steven Spielberg, who is maybe one of the greatest American directors of all time, who has made maybe one of the greatest movies of all time in Schindler's List, who makes countless fucking incredible movies. You can't just say, like, well, I'm going to be the next Steven Spielberg, because, like, you're not going to be.
No. Especially if you're fucking JJ Abrams. You're not gonna be.
Yeah.
But fucking, this scene is pointless. I hate, like, I can't even articulate anything beyond, this scene is put into this movie to pad it out, to add more running time and to have more exciting action scenes.
Right. There wasn't enough exciting things happening, so they needed to put one in there.
There's no breathing room.
Also,
in
what is
movie.
this? What is this fucking machine that he gets beamed inside of? What's this water thing?
Yeah, why is there water on starships? Like, there's just fucking standing water on the Dorada.
Right, like why does the ship need all this water? It's not cooled by water. It's a fucking warp engine. Water's not gonna do shit.
It's water cooled.
It's antimatter and matter mixing. Like, what's water gonna do? Make a bigger explosion?
They couldn't have him go into, like, an antimatter tube.
Well, they should have just had him not go into anything.
Well, what?
They should have just had him be there.
No,
I'm Scotty now. Hi, I'm here.
You can't do that. You gotta have him be on a planet somewhere.
I think we should beam into a break. I need a drink.
Yeah, let's beam the fuck into a break. We will be right back after these messages.
Captain's log. Stardate 5123-1. Using the Star Trek Command Communications console, Scott and Jim try to contact Steve. Will they succeed?
Let's contact Steve. Check. Ready.
I'm receiving a signal. Who's calling?
This is Scott, and this is
Jim. You read us? Over. I read you loud and clear. Over.
Return to base.
Station. Repeat. Return to base station. Over. You secret Morse code signal. Over.
That's neat. Will do.
The Star Trek Command Communications console with telescreen and warp drive sound, new from Miko.
And we're back.
We did it.
We, hopefully you enjoyed that message.
I'm calmed down a little bit.
To you guys, it just seems like we were gone for the length of that commercial, but we weren't. We literally just stopped to start it again. A little bit behind the scenes info for you.
Turns out that's what we do. Deal with it.
Pulling the curtain back. So Kirk and Scotty get captured by some security.
Yeah.
And security are just as unimportant in this movie as they were in TOS.
Yeah, they're the same guys, though, from the bar. So
Yeah.
that's a thing that happens.
I guess that matters.
Cool.
And
what are the odds that those guys got on the Enterprise too?
Scotty is really weirdly loyal to Kirk, like right out the gate.
Yeah,
like,
it sort of sets up a bad like professional relationship for these guys because like he's kind of like Scotty's kind of like Kirk's bitch at this point,
yeah,
right?
He's a sidekick.
Yeah.
And fucking, he's just like, there's this whole scene, right, where Spock is already angry. Like, he's already emotionally compromised. When the scene starts, he's just pissed.
Yeah.
And they just push and push and push and push and push. And finally, Spock just starts beating the shit out of Kirk, and everybody stands around and watches.
He's choking him and shit.
And nobody does anything. They just stand there and watch.
Yeah, they don't phaser him, they don't stun him, they don't do anything. They're just like, oh, well, let him kill him, fuck it.
I guess I don't like Kirk, so just fucking kill him, whatever.
Are we in the mirror universe? I don't know, I forget.
It's maybe that explains everything.
Maybe that's the whole thing, right?
Spock's like, alright, I'm relieving myself of duty, bye. And Kirk's like, actually, I'm the first officer. And everybody's like, God, Kirk, you're a fucking prick.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And Kirk's like, we're gonna do my plan now. And everybody's like, alright, I guess.
Everyone's just like, I don't know, I just graduated yesterday.
Can we go home now?
I didn't even have a party yet. My mom put up a tent and everything. We are gonna have a bouncy castle. It was gonna be great.
I had DJ Khaled coming over.
DJ Khaled!
Spock talks to Sarek, and Sarek's like, actually, I loved your mom. I didn't tell you this ever for no reason.
Like, he didn't, like, Spock's so dumb, he can't, like, realize that. Like,
no.
It's so fucking dumb. Like, it's so it's characters explaining how they feel. That's exactly what this is.
You can't tell the audience how a character feels. That makes me angry.
It's exactly what this is.
Chekhov has a plan. They're gonna go to Titan's moon, and the rings of Saturn will block them from being seen.
Sure.
And then they just do it.
Yep. They warp themselves like a cunt hair away from crashing into Titan.
And like, that's this movie right there. Like, we have this big plan and let's explain it, and then we just do it.
It just happens. That's every movie he writes is that way. And here's this thing, and then it immediately happens.
Normally, in a normal movie, if a character goes into length describing a plan, it's going to fail. Right. That's the idea, that like
it's going to fail or it's going to almost fail.
Yeah, but it just works perfectly this time.
Because that's how the world works, Jeff.
And then Spock shows up and he's like, I'm going to do your plan now too, Kirk, because I love you.
Because we're BFF now.
And there's a little bit, right, that I'd never noticed before. Mm-hmm. Kirk slaps Spock on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And it plays a Tom and Jerry slapping sound effect.
I've never heard that, but I totally believe you.
As soon as I heard it, I was like, why the fuck is that in this movie?
Dude, I don't know. I don't.
The like Foley artist was like, fuck it, just put like a Tom and Jerry slap in. I don't have time for this.
He was probably like, this movie sucks. I don't want to do this.
I'm gonna take a break. Just put whatever in there.
Yeah, the intern was like, check this out.
I'm gonna put it in and nobody will notice.
It's a Wilhelm scream.
They transport to the Narada. Yeah. And Uhura and Spock make out.
Because he's not gay, Jeff. He's not gay.
I need to know that.
He's not gay. Don't think he's gay. He's not.
What I was thinking about is, what does Spock like to put his dick in?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. When I think of Star Trek characters, I'm like, yeah, but would he fuck this like hot chick that I want to fuck?
And as it turns out, yes, he would.
Cool. Now I know. Now I'm totally still not gay, everyone. Just so everyone knows, I'm straight and not gay.
I want to make that clear. He says that, too. He says it to everyone in the room, and they're all like, okay.
All right. We heard this already. Captain's log, I'm still not gay. Stardate, I'm not gay, 0.6.
The stardate doesn't make much sense in this, by the way. They say the year and then the month, I guess.
Well, that's like, they did that on Enterprise because they don't have stardates yet.
But like,
going far enough for that to be a thing.
But, like, you still don't know what day it is.
Right. It's a
Or is it the day? Or is it just, like, however many days? It doesn't matter. None of
They
this
had to do it
matters.
because stardates were too complicated for people.
Yeah, it does.
They had to get rid of it. That's why. That's why they didn't.
None of
have
this
it.
matters. They're supposed to beam to the cargo bay, but they don't because they need another action scene, and then they have a firefight.
Yeah, there's guys getting shot. There's people falling into Star Wars pits.
The ship makes no sense internally, like
Because it's the
why-
Death Star.
It is the Death Star,
It is. That's what it is.
and they get on board the little spinny ship that Spock was the captain of.
Yeah, his little shuttle, whatever the hell, fighter, whatever that is.
Jellyfish?
Yeah, it looks like a jellyfish.
I think it's called the Jellyfish.
Yeah.
And
That's a dumb name for a ship.
Spock figures out that he met himself from the future or whatever.
Yeah.
And
it didn't explode the universe, so we're good.
And Spock calls Kirk Jim.
Yeah.
Did he know his name?
Spock Prime or Spock?
The Kelvin Spock.
Kelvin Spock calls him Jim?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're friends now, so we call him Jim. That's the reason.
Man, I'm gonna write so many fan fictions. So many.
You know what Jim rhymes with? Fuck me in the butt.
They're close.
There it is.
They're close. So Spock takes off with the jellyfish. Kirk runs over to the Romulans' bridge and gets the shit beat out of him. Again, for like the 8th time in the movie. He's like the
Yep.
worst fighter that ever lived.
Yep.
And right before he's about to kill Kirk, Nero learns that the jellyfish was taken. And Nero's like, fucking, I hate that Spock.
God, he puts his fist up in the air and he says, Spock!
Yeah. I wonder if that reminds me of something from another
But
movie.
Spock, I think, doesn't Spock fly out of the ship and then turn around and shoot the tether off? Because they're on Earth now, right? They're at Earth.
Yeah, he shoots the tether off.
And they're mining in, like, next to San Francisco near the bridge. Because fuck it, why not?
And Kirk shoots a guy. Like, the guy's choking him, and he's like, I got your gun. Ha 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 ha. And he
gun.
shoots him.
He says gun, which bothers me.
Everything about this movie bothers me.
But, like, think about that. Think about, like, did they purposely go to San Francisco because it's, like, where Starfleet is? Or did they just happen to pick that spot? Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. The writers certainly don't.
They just have to have it there because
Yeah.
it's there.
And Nero hails Spock, and he's like, you should, I'm gonna kill you. I should have killed you when I had a chance. And Spock's like,
I love listening to you, like, just, like, slowly, like, you're just, like, ready to be done. You're so done right now.
this is the halfway point of the movie, and I'm already fucking done.
Dude, we're coming to the end here, thank
Yeah,
God.
we're
It's
getting
so
close.
Oh, God, I can taste it.
We're,
Oh, God.
we're getting closer, I guess. But, where are we at? Like,
Spock shoots the thing off and then flies away.
yeah, and
He
they're
warps
gonna.
out of there.
We think that Spock has a clever plan, right? We as an
Right.
audience, we're like, Spock obviously has a plan.
He's Spock, of course he does.
But his plan is actually to just ram his fucking ship with the red matter into the Narada,
Sure, that's a great plan.
which is great. It's like how the hero of all universes, George Kirk, rammed his ship.
You know what they could have done here? Like, they could have had a callback that meant something here, where if Kirk slaps him on the back, he puts that thing on, like, that transport tag from 6,
Yeah.
and then they could have come back and Spock could have been ramming the ship into the ship, and then they could have beamed him off like that. Like, that would have been a thing.
That would have been a callback to Star Trek.
It would have been a callback to Star Trek, but it would have made sense, and it would have been
Yeah.
a callback that, like, would have made sense
Which is
instead of
better
the ones,
than all the other ones. in
right?
this
Instead of the
movie.
ones that don't make any fucking sense.
So, is Spock an idiot? Is my question.
I don't know. He's not Spock, so probably.
Like, his plan is to ram, like, his idea is to ram his ship into the Narada,
Yeah.
carrying more red matter than would be needed to obliterate the entire universe.
Yeah, probably would make a black hole the size of, like, the center of the galaxy's black hole, like the supermassive black hole.
Yeah,
like
we just have another one. There'd just be
just
two.
two, one really close to Earth.
Yeah. It would obliterate Earth. Well, they warp away from Earth, but they're only in warp for like a second, so they're not that far away.
But warp in these movies are like Star Wars. Like it's like hyperspace. Like there's no like hyperspace is just whatever. It doesn't make sense. It's just whatever.
And that's how warp works in this.
And warp does not work that way.
There's a line where Chekhov says, "We'll be at Vulcan in 3 minutes."
Yeah, that's fucking fast as shit.
What?
That's crazy fast.
That is insane.
You're going like warp 60.
But Kirk finds Pike, right? Before they ram into the ship. Kirk finds Pike, and Pike's like, I knew you'd come and find me. I love you. And he also shoots 2 guys because murder's cool.
Yeah, he kills them because he also has to do stuff.
Yeah, he's a cool murderer. We love murderers.
Yeah.
And then they beam off. Everybody beams out, right?
Yeah.
And he rams the ship into the other ship, and it makes a super fucking black hole. It's massive. And they're like, Nero will save you if you want. And he's like, suck my green dick.
He says, suck my green dick. And then he suns them, which is the reverse of mooning someone, where you show them your dick.
Okay, yeah, he does sun them.
He suns them. He suns the shit out of them for like an extremely
and then he like meat spins at him for like a full 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's such a weird. It's like the art part of the movie. Like it's an art film at this point.
It's like a Jodorowsky film.
Yeah, it's exactly like a Jodorowsky film. And you're like, wait, what's happening right now?
And it's super slow motion.
Yeah,
and the camera slowly moves in on his dick spinning.
Yeah. Oh,
and
man.
the sound effect is like
Yeah. It's exactly what happens at this point.
And then he just closes his eyes and dies, which is really anticlimactic, really, when you think about it.
It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid, Jeff. Like,
and then
it's so dumb.
And then it turns out the Enterprise has like 1 billion warp cores, and they just fire them all into space.
Fucking dude, I was gonna bring that up too. Like, they're like, eject the warp core to like, get away from the black hole or whatever, because that's what we do in Star Trek.
Yeah.
And like, they're like 15 warp cores fly out, and you're like, wait a minute, what?
What? Are they just batteries?
Why isn't there 1 warp core? It's the warp core.
Is the warp core just a battery in this universe?
It's a fucking antimatter engine. It doesn't need to be that big. It's like crazy powerful. That's the point.
They shoot 6 of them out or whatever, and it explodes and they get away.
Yep. And then the movie, I think, ends.
No, I wish.
I don't remember what happens after that.
It flashes to Earth, and like young Spock meets old Spock.
Oh right,
and
he
old
calls
Spock,
him his dad. He's like, Dad, Father.
He's like, I am not our father.
Yeah.
And then he has a poignant scene that I'm sure he got a lot of money for. So good for him.
Yeah. Well, he's dead now, so can't take it with you.
As far as we know,
he might have got a lot of money, but we'll always remember the living have to see him in this terrible movie.
So it's like a curse on humanity.
Yeah,
that's pretty fucking badass. Like, he left with a curse.
He cursed us. He was the only one they wanted, and he did it. He could have been like, no, I don't want to do that, but okay.
Dude's gotta eat. And he does a lot of puns, which I didn't enjoy at all. Like, he does a lot of we're the same person puns.
Yeah,
and I didn't like that at all.
His time on Romulus made him less cool, that's for sure.
And then, I don't know, fucking Kirk gets a commendation from Starfleet.
He gets the Christopher Pike Medal of Valor, which
even though
apparently
Pike is sitting there.
Even though he's not dead. It's named after it.
Pike's in a wheelchair, and...
Get it? Because of, like, the thing. It's like the beep box, but it's not.
It's not as cool. It's not as nightmarish.
Yeah.
Beep, and beep. Old Spock is watching because we needed another scene with him.
Yeah, well, they had him for the whole day, so you might as well use him, right? Just show up tomorrow, Mr. Nimoy. We'll shoot you with some more scenes.
Kirk's still a cunt because he does his stupid bro move with McCoy. It says, buckle up, Bones.
Oh my god.
That's how he laughs. And Keenzer is on the engineering staff because we need some Ewoks in the further films.
In the first movie, we get an Ewok.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I don't know. Spock joins the crew as the first officer, and then they all fucking kiss.
Dude.
And
That's
then,
it.
Then there's like Leonard Nimoy does the ending thing, the final frontier.
Yeah.
And he's like their ongoing mission to explore strange new worlds. They don't do that. To seek out new life forms. They don't do that.
Yeah, because they're there to shoot new life forms and explore Earth and be on Earth all the time.
It should have been like her ongoing mission to blow shit up.
Her ongoing mission to fuck your mind with cool action, bitches. And and then it says, "Damn, son, where'd you find this?"
And then Blingy comes up on the screen, fucking like Snoop Dogg doing a dance.
Doing the wheel spin. Yeah, I'm doing it right now. You can't see me, but
I was doing it too when I described it. The end.
Oh my god, I feel like I just took a test. I feel like I'm in school.
This is a bad movie, everyone.
Yeah, this movie sucks fucking dicks.
I want you all to understand that. And when I say this is a bad movie, I mean that this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, JJ Abrams holds a lot of those for me.
Well, the worst movie I've ever seen in my life
is next.
It's actually maybe Howard the Duck was worse.
I secretly love Howard the Duck because it's terrible.
What?
It's so dumb. It's a childhood movie. I used to watch it as a kid.
Me and a friend sat down to watch Howard the Duck for the first time. We were like, we're going to rip on this movie and have a great time.
Yeah.
And after a while, we just stopped joking and we're just watching like completely stone-faced.
The stupid parts where he's a duck and he flies in an ultralight. I get it.
We just sat there stone-faced for a while, and then finally I was like, how much longer is this movie?
Yeah.
And we looked, and we'd only been watching it for 22 minutes. I felt like I'd been watching it for hours.
But I think we can agree that Into Darkness is so bad.
It is on equal playing ground.
It's so bad. At least that movie has a plot.
I'll say that about this movie. At least this movie has something. Into Darkness has nothing.
This is like the second draft of a movie, right?
Yeah.
And they made it a movie.
Into Darkness isn't even a movie. It's just a bunch of ideas that they had written down on a piece of loose leaf paper.
Yeah, Into Darkness is a PMV, a porn music video, where
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah. Pornhub.com, go check them out.
I'll go right now, actually. Hold on.
Where, like, the director and the writers just come into the camera at your face the whole time.
Jesus.
It's nothing but, like, a gathering of things that have happened.
Yeah, it's just thoughts they had.
Yeah.
And they just made a movie out of them. They were like, well, people loved the first one, right? We'll just do what the fuck ever.
Fuck it. And JJ was like, I want to go do Star Wars, so I'm going to phone it in hard as fuck. Which for him is, like, impressive.
Yeah, how do you phone in when you're JJ Abrams?
It's like a whole nother level of phoning in, man. It's like a sub-level of
It's like an art form. Jesus.
It's like he's like Andy Kaufmaning everybody. Like, he's just being, like, completely insane.
Yeah. If
and
you're
like, is this real?
If you listen to this whole review, right, and you still really like Star Trek 09, one, what a fucking trooper you are. Like,
true. You stuck with it, and you deserve a hat tip to you, sir.
Yeah, tip of the hat. Two, why?
Yeah, how can you, like, defend, like, that? Like, that's what I don't understand about this shit. Like, there's no defense for this. Like, there isn't. There just isn't.
The defense that everybody goes to is it's like, well, it's different for a reason.
Or it's a movie and it's fun.
Yeah, it's
like,
just
okay,
a popcorn movie.
Sure, but movies have to make sense. And this movie doesn't.
Beyond even being a popcorn movie, it's like, how would you feel if somebody made a popcorn movie out of Schindler's List?
Right. How would you feel if somebody made a popcorn movie out of, like, your fill-in-the-blank beloved fucking video game that you want to jerk off all over all the time? You know what I mean? Like, how many times do people, like yell at me for, like, not liking a game, and I get to hear, like, oh, this game's a classic, and it's like, well, okay, maybe, but, like
Star Trek has it answers to, like, a higher power in human beings, right? It's this desire for a better future and a better outcome for humanity,
right?
But nothing has changed in these movies. The humanity of the future is almost worse.
It's a cartoon version of even now. Like, people aren't even like that now. You know what I mean? Like, there's good people on the Earth now, and they don't act like that. People in charge of important things are good people.
Yeah, they're not idiots. Like, everyone in this movie is dumb as fuck. And it's just a dumb popcorn action movie, right? And you can do a popcorn action movie with Star Trek and still have it have some substance. Watch any of the TOS movies besides 5.
Right. Yeah.
Those movies have something to them.
It's called, the word you're looking for is a theme.
A theme, yeah.
These movies
thematically, these movies are completely fucking blank.
There's no theme. The theme is Star Trek was a thing one time.
And you could have done a theme of, like, fathers and sons, like, trying to live up to the legacy of your father, but they just dropped that, like, 10 minutes into the movie.
Well, I think they realized how often they go to that well. They go to that well as a writing team, like, all the fucking time.
Yeah,
like,
they could have done, like, a redemption story, like, if he starts out as, like... And I guess they tried, but it should have been in the background.
It should have been Thor. It just should have been Thor. Just make Thor, and then this is the movie. Like, just do that with this. Like,
it's like his redemption arc is so buried under everything else in this movie, and he doesn't change. Like, at the end of the movie,
because he doesn't learn anything. He's still the same ding dong.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, he's still a dickhead, just like he was when he was sitting in the chair mugging at the Kobayashi Maru. He sits in the chair at the end, and he mugs in the captain's chair.
Right. Yeah, everyone in this movie is infuriating except for Bones. So I don't know.
Yeah, make a movie about him.
I'd love a movie about Bones where he's at Old Miss and he's just like miserable. He's like, fuck, I gotta take my chemistry AP test. Fuck this.
That'd be great.
I would rather watch Bones study for a chemistry test for 2.5 hours than watch this movie.
And I know Kirk is a different character, right? And he can be whatever he wants to be in this. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want Kirk to be. His dad died, he fucking changed. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's a description of Kirk that I absolutely love, where they're like, I think McCoy says it. He said, or somebody says it in one of the movies, like that Kirk, when he was in the Academy, he was basically a stack of books with legs.
Yeah.
I love that description of him and his Academy days.
Yeah,
because to become like a great captain, you have to be like that. You have to put in the time and effort.
You have to study history. You have to know like what the fuck you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
Like it's a really important job.
Yeah, as a captain, you have to understand how every system on that ship works.
Right.
Because you can't give orders for something on the ship that can't be done. Like if you're like, hey, engineering, I need the warp core to be turned green. Engineering would be like, what?
It's Christmas. We want to festive up the warp core back.
Like you call the engineering, and you're like, hey, turn the warp core up to 11.
Right.
Like, and they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
You have to know how all these systems work, so of course you have to study and shit. Like, a cadet becomes captain over the course of 1 week in this movie.
It's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
And he didn't even study. Like, he cheated on the fucking thing, and I'm sure he cheated all the time. Like, Kirk cheated, but in a clever way. He reprogrammed the test himself.
It's a zeitgeist thing. It's a spirit of the times. Like, Kirk in the Prime universe cheats on the Kobayashi Maru because he reads the tea leaves and he can see that, like, this is something no one's ever tried. If you ever go to Harvard and take the tour and do the dumb, stupid tour that everyone takes when they go there, and they'll tell you stories like this of famous students that they have who, you know, one of them is the story of, I forget who it was, some writer was taking a final, and, like, the final was like describe your perfect day or whatever the fuck stupid Harvard thing, and the guy just leaves. Like the guy, like he just leaves and goes outside and like sits outside all for his final, and the professor like gives him an A because like that guy just went and did his perfect day. You know what I mean? Like
I think I know that story.
Yeah, it's a pretty famous story. I probably butchered it, but like somebody probably knows who it was.
But it's like it shows an ingenuity,
right?
And the thing is, Kirk reprograms the test himself in
Right.
the Prime Universe. It shows not only his ingenuity and
Right.
cleverness, but also his aptitude as a computer programmer.
Right, he knows how to get around things, and he's smart. He's not just like,
In this universe, he fucks a green chick and has her do it for him.
yeah,
That's not cool.
that's shitty. That's really shitty.
It's he's just a frat bro douchebag.
Yeah, played by a guy who probably couldn't have been him. Like, that would have been cool. I'd be cool with Chris Pine not being him.
There's a Saturday Night Live skit of Chris Pine playing like the Shatner Kirk.
Yeah.
And he does a dead-on fucking impression of him.
Yeah.
And it's like, he doesn't even do the shit that other people do where they constantly stop talking. And
yeah,
talk
that's
like this. Like, he
right.
does a perfect impression of how Kirk actually acted and talked.
Right.
And
There's
then
flashes
in the actual
of it.
movie, he doesn't do any of that shit.
There's flashes of it in this movie. Like, you see it, glimpses of it. But, like, the character's not allowed to be Kirk, so why would he act like Kirk? Right?
He didn't want to either. He wanted to do his own Kirk, which I guess is just every other character he's ever played in anything.
Yeah, which is everybody, just a normal guy. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because this movie is called Normal Guys in Space. Awesome.
He's average man. And we get all this stuff about how clever and smart he is, and how like super genius he is, but he's so super dumb.
He's just you're told that he is a thing, but he never is that thing.
Show don't tell.
Yep.
Robert
How about you show
Orsi
me?
and Alex Kurtzman.
Tell me it through the moving of the pictures what he's good at.
I think we've got our point across about this movie, though.
Yeah, I hate it.
That it's terrible and we hate it.
I'd give this a negative score if negative numbers ever stopped, but they don't. So infinity, negative infinity.
I would go ahead and reserve infinitive negative infinity for Into Darkness.
But I'm gonna go negative double infinity, which is still infinity. That will blow your mind if you start thinking about it.
Oh my god. So why don't we shift gears
and read some emails?
Emails.
We have to do it after a break, though, because I have to urinate.
Let's have a break.
Now everybody knows I pee. Gross.
Ooh, disgusting. We'll be right back after these messages.
Meteorite storm. Scotty, beam us up.
Scotty! Scotty!
Don't worry, Captain. It's only a shower. I don't mean to brawly, you wally. Beam us up. Captain, I haven't got the power. Try, man, try. Power! More power! Man's power, man. Uh-oh. Start again.
Well, he certainly hasn't got the power. Good afternoon. But you could have national power and power gen. To register for a prospectus in the generating company's share offers, call 0272-272-272.
And we're back with the email portion of the program.
My favorite electronic mail.
It's not like regular mail, it comes straight to your computer system.
Oh, it's the 90s.
Our first email is from Rich.
Rich Green?
Rich Masters.
Oh, that's a cool name, Stu. Still? Stu?
Stu? Stu Pickles?
Still? Stu Pickles? It's the 90s.
It's the 90s, everybody. All my references come from there. He sent in 2 emails. I'm going to read the beginning of one and the rest of another.
All right.
Hi, Jeff and Josh. Loving the fuck out of the podcast. Given the fact that I keep laughing out loud at work and people realize I'm not actually doing what I've been paid to do, I definitely think you guys have cost me a promotion.
That's work for you.
But it's totally worth it. If you could body swap with any character in the Star Trek universe for a day, who would it be and why? Would you want to
man.
be Guinan to see how many beers you could stack on her Bram Stoker's Dracula hat? Or maybe Reg Barkley to see his real XXX holodeck programs? Would love to know.
Real triple X.
Thanks, guys, again. Freaking love the podcast. Think you guys are an ace team. Really want you guys to keep going on past the modern films and into the series stuff. Rich.
We will.
Well, we definitely will. And thank you for all the cool compliments.
That's cool.
You're a cool guy.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know, man. My wife listens to this podcast. I can't really be getting into.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I understand. I don't know. Like,
I was gonna make a joke and say Riker, and just because of all the unbelievable ass he pulls, but I couldn't now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Data just to see what it would be like to think like that.
To be
like
a robot?
That would be cool. Or, like, definitely not. I wouldn't be Picard, because, like, his day is pretty boring, honestly. Like,
also, like, if shit goes wrong, you have to make decisions then.
Yeah, and I'm not ready.
No, I'm not. I could never be a captain. There's
I
no
just
chance.
graduated a week ago. I can't be a captain.
Actually.
I don't know.
That is tough. If I really had to choose, I'd probably the whole body swap thing means that some random asshole is going to be in my body.
Is it the actor who plays the character, or is it the character?
I don't know. I don't want that at all. Like, if I could just take someone's place and not have to have them in my body as well.
They would go into my body and be like, this guy has not been taking care of things around here. They'd be like, what is going on with this guy's body?
I would not want Riker in my body anywhere near my wife.
Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna have to, if we don't body swap, I would just want to go into the mind of some random ass, like, crewman on a ship just to see the ship and all the people on it.
Yeah, just
I think
to
that
walk
would
around
be
for the
super
day.
cool.
That's a good answer. That's a really good answer. Could I jump into this person's friend, and then we could be friends still?
we could still be friends in Star Trek. I'm cool with that.
Let's do that.
That's a good answer. Thanks for writing in, Rich. We appreciate that. We have a fairly long email, so I might skip around a little bit.
Oh my god, I hate thinking.
Yeah, fucking reading. What am I, a nerd?
Fuck you, Kirk forever.
Oh.
Alpha Omega.
Oh. The next email is from Bryce D.
Hi, Bryce.
Who said, "Hey, Jeff and Josh. First off, absolutely loving the podcast.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite things to listen to on my hellish commute every day.
Wow.
Hell yeah. And thanks to you guys,
awesome.
I started watching TOS Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought it was kind of campy and silly, simply from others' opinions and spoofs and whatnot, but I'm really enjoying it. Still kind of blows my mind every time I remember that this was shot in the 60s.
Yeah, it's a better show. It's a better show than pop culture has done its service.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, on to the questions. So just recently, the trailer for The Orville was released. Have you seen that?
No, what is that?
The Orville is a Seth MacFarlane Star Trek live-action spoof.
Right. I got you. I got you.
And I am kind of torn. I really like Galaxy Quest, but I feel it was more paying homage to the actual show and production rather than spoofing the series.
Yeah.
The Orville looks like it's going to be, hey, in this episode, Spock said something funny. Let's have our character do that too, 20 times.
Maybe.
Full disclaimer, I'm not a huge fan of Seth MacFarlane.
I actually really like Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, yeah?
I'll stick up for Seth MacFarlane.
Man, I don't like him. I'm not a fan.
He's a really big Star Trek fan. Like,
that's the thing.
Really loves Star Trek.
That's the only reason why I'm willing to give the Orville a chance, because I know how much he loves Star Trek.
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane is better than his humor, typically, which I think it can be confusing to people. But you have to remember that Seth MacFarlane is a product of everyone buying Family Guy DVDs. From like 2003 to 2006, everyone bought those. So, I don't know. I mean, I probably won't watch it, because, like, I don't care. But, like, I mean, whatever. It doesn't really affect me, I don't think. Is that the question?
No, I don't think that's the question at all. I seriously thought the redheaded dude with the beard was Josh.
Oh man, that would be cool. I wish.
It would be cool. There's actually a shot of that redheaded guy, and there's a guy directly behind him who has brown hair and a beard. And
man,
people keep showing it to me, going, "Holy shit, Jeff and Josh are on this."
Maybe we just like look like that. Oh God, what does that say about us?
So in this episode, they just like changed the topic. Maybe we get back to it. I don't know. So in this
we never do that. We never change that topic.
That never happens.
No.
So in the episode Far Beyond the Stars in Deep Space Nine, Sisko starts to have visions of him being a science fiction writer in the 1950s, and that everything in DS9 and maybe all of Star Trek is just his writing and losing his grip on reality.
Right.
I think it was super cool getting to see all the characters out of makeup and just as co-workers, friends, and random acquaintances.
Yeah.
Was just wondering what you guys thought about it, and if you had any thoughts on maybe this is all really in Sisko's crazy head.
I don't think it's that important. I think that's like one of the more Twilight Zone-y Star Trek episodes. I love those though.
I actually love that episode.
That episode is fantastic.
That episode is like, Star Trek doesn't. When Star Trek tackles the idea of racism, it's usually done in metaphor because there's no racism in the future. Like that's one of the beautiful utopian things about the Star Trek future is there's no racism. So the only racism happens between weird aliens and other weird aliens.
Right. It's all symbolic racism.
Yeah. So having an episode that actually goes back in time and deals with the real ass racism.
I think that was important to Avery Brooks, who played Sisko.
Yeah.
There's another episode where they all go to Vix, the holodeck, and Cassidy is like, "Why don't you go to Vix? Like, it's fun." And Sisko's like, "I'm not going to go celebrate and have fun in a fake era when my people, like black people, weren't allowed into places." Like, he's like, I'm not going to pretend that wasn't a thing, you know?
I feel like Avery Brooks really wanted to inject some of that into his time in Star Trek to make certain that they touched on those type of issues.
Yeah, it's really good. As for like it being like in his head, like I don't think it really matters. I think it's more of a commentary on like human imagination and like look at what we can do if we imagine that we all can just like not hate each other. Like, that's the point, right?
It was all like a vision from the prophets anyway. That's the only thing I really, that's the only thing I really don't like about that episode at all. That like kind of like ruffles my feathers a little bit. Is at the end. Yeah. At the end, it's straight up Twilight Zone, and he's like, "But maybe we all exist in that fiction." Right. Woo!
It turns out it was man.
I don't know why I just did the DuckTales thing. But yeah, I don't think it really matters to there's a weird sort of thing that fandoms do all the time where if something is undone by canon or something, it like takes away the value of everything that happened before it.
Yeah, it's a very...
I don't buy that at all.
It has to do with the idea of attachment. People get attached to the idea of something, and then when it changes, it's threatened to be changed. People have a really hard time with that. And like this is just like it's like art. Like they're just making art. Think of it like that, right? Like, it can be whatever. Somebody just fell over behind me.
Uh-oh.
What the hell was that? Did you jump up on there? He jumped up on my keyboard. Sorry.
Oh.
He's fine. He's an idiot.
Josh has a new roommate. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. Come on, new roommate.
Keep up the great work. Keep up the great work, guys. Can't wait to hear your opinions on Nemesis and the 2009 Star Trek movies.
Oh, right. We didn't edit that one.
Oh, I wonder why that didn't happen.
Shit.
Honestly, I don't mind Nemesis or 2009 too much, but only because those were the first two Star Trek things I ever watched.
Well, by now you've heard 2009 and also this episode, so sorry we ruined your life.
Keep on trekking. And please don't fire Josh.
Keep on trekking.
I love keep on trekking, but I think keep on doing something might be a little too on the nose for a podcast with you in it.
It might be cursed. I don't know. It's possible that it's cursed.
So thanks for writing in. We got another email from Jack Carpenter.
Oh, man.
Who, the title of his email is 2009 Reasons This Movie Blows.
All right, I'm ready.
He says, "Hey bros, how about those lens flares, am I right?"
There it is.
Anyway, I'm sure any gripe I have with this movie has already been covered by you guys. This movie is such a bunch of hot dogging, in my opinion.
That's a perfect way to put it. That's beautiful.
But there's one major thing that pisses me off about the dumpster fire. I know a good number of people who were introduced to Star Trek through this movie and loved it, and then went back to watch the previous shows and movies. They thought all of them sucked. Like, I know it's not my place to judge on who's a fan of what, but as a guy who's loved Star Trek for a long time, I couldn't help but get pissed off when non-fans become fans because of the new movies and start shitting on the previous shows.
Well,
I don't know. What do y'all think?
Well, now you know how I feel about Star Trek. I feel the same way. I also feel that way about Star Wars, so...
Yeah, I mean...
I found my Star Wars club, like, fan club card the other day.
Yeah.
That I got in like 1993 through the magazine, and I got sad because like that was when nobody gave a fuck about Star Wars.
Yeah,
and
having that card meant like you were a small group of people, not small really, but like a group of selective people who really loved something.
Right, and now if you don't like Star Wars, what are you, an idiot?
Yeah.
And like, well, I don't know.
The thing about people liking the new Star Trek movies, if they just like the new movies and that was it, and they didn't touch the old stuff, that would be fine. Or if they go back to the old stuff and love it as well, that's awesome. I'm glad that it was a gateway for you. But nothing on Earth makes me angrier than when somebody tries to shit on the original series in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that shit.
Yeah,
like,
man.
You can shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's completely like unfair because it's like this was a show that like didn't exist prior to that show. Like they invented like a thing.
Yeah.
like
and it's
how do you get mad about that? Like
people are getting that with TNG. Like there was a subsection of TNG fans that hated the original series because of how old and hokey it was.
Right,
and now your shit's old and hokey. How does it feel?
It's the same shit, right? Yeah.
And I hate that. I don't want anybody to have to go through that. Like
yeah, it's dumb, man.
If you I don't know.
I will say I've had the opposite of experience though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like I think a lot of people who play like Star Trek Online, like when I first started playing it, came because like there was a bunch of like Kelvin timeline shit, and they wanted to shoot the cool Enterprise guns and you know all that shit.
Yeah.
And then I think like the people that I've talked to in the game and have seen come to appreciate Star Trek. Like
yeah, there's a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that too.
Yeah,
like,
so that's been my experience,
which is great. Like I said, I'm all on board with that.
Yeah, you want to fly a stupid Kelvin Enterprise around? Like I don't give a fuck, dude. Like whatever. But
whatever
like
you want.
You know, you're still playing. Like that's the good thing about that game is you're still playing in the Prime universe. So
it's great if they're a gateway into better Trek. I'm absolutely fine with that. And even if you still have some sort of nostalgia for them, so you like them because they were what got you into it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you go to watch older Trek and it's not like the new movies and you just start shitting on it, you can fuck off forever.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Seriously.
I got nothing to say to you for that.
Just wait till they start fucking remaking like Marvel movies and shit. I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Like fuck you.
They're already remaking Marvel movies.
Well,
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man, fucking Spider-Man. Jesus Christ.
Love you guys, love the show, all that good shit. Looking forward to the next episode because I think we can all agree that Into Darkness is the greatest piece of art mankind has ever created.
I said I don't know how we were going to get through this episode. I really do not know how we're going to get through the next one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be possible. We might just have to stop at some point because like
there might be like a bits and pieces like podcast that we can release later on down the line about it.
There's no like continuity in the movie. Like how do you go from part to part? Like you just can't.
I ran out of steam like 75% of the way through this. I don't even know how I'm gonna handle fucking Into Darkness.
Caffeine, dude. You gotta drink a lot of it.
Our next email is from Parker Lee.
Cool.
Who says, "Hi y'all."
Hi.
I feel like people write y'all in their emails because they want me to say it in my southern accent.
Oh, is that why?
Because it happens a lot.
Jeff, I'm gonna be fully enlightened right now. I don't even think about it.
You don't feel it in your
I don't even
bones?
think about it. And like I'm somebody who like really doesn't find Southern accents attractive, but with you, I don't even think about it.
It's a smooth, buttery kind of accent.
Maybe because you're a person to me and not an accent.
I'm not a stereotype. Big fan of the podcast. I'm a PhD student.
Whoa!
And your reviews and banner make my long hours of lab work much more bearable.
Oh my god, we're making future doctors idiots.
Dude, we're ruining the world.
Shit, we're terrible people.
Thank you, though. God, a smart man likes our podcast. Take that, dummies.
Take that, Mom. I do something.
My girlfriend is a big fan of Star Trek, but I never started watching it until I started listening.
Cool.
Now I'm 2 seasons deep into TNG and loving it.
Oh, it gets better, dude. Just keep hanging in there.
Specifically, the episode where Picard and Crusher both tell Wesley to shut up, Wesley, had me laughing out loud for a solid Wesley. 5 minutes. My question is, what part of Star Trek 2009 and any of the series was the most legitimately, not ironically, funny and made you laugh out loud? Keep on shirting it.
None parts, honestly. Like, I don't...
2009 wasn't legitimately funny.
There's no parts. Yeah, there's no parts.
There's no parts that are even ironically funny to me. It just makes me too angry.
It's all on the nose, and it's all ham-fisted, and it's stupid.
I'll tell you a part that always makes me laugh about Star Trek, though, in any Star Trek, is when, in the baseball episode of Deep Space Nine, when they're like, they're doing heckling the batter, and they're like, swing, batter,
Worf,
swing.
You talking about Worf?
And then Worf goes, death to the opposition. Death to the opposition.
It's perfect. It's so fucking perfect.
It always makes me laugh every fucking time.
It's like that episode was like made because of that line. You know what I mean? It's so perfect.
Also, the episode where Riker is like trapped in the fake simulation of his future.
Like, right.
And he says, "Shut up!" And they're like, "What? Excuse me?" And he says, "Shut up," as in shut your mouth and stop talking.
Mouth. Yeah, it's like so brutal. You're like, damn.
You're like, God damn, Riker, I didn't know you had it in you.
Jonathan Frakes is like, he's like actually mad. He's like, fuck this episode.
I love it so much. Thanks for writing in, though, PhD man. We appreciate it. When you become a doctor, man, I'll come calling on you. I don't know if you're even a doctor or like.
If you're a doctor, we're gonna call you Bones. But if you're not a doctor, we're gonna call you Spock.
Yeah, or Crusher.
or any of the doctors.
Yeah, any of the doctors. Doctor Who.
There you go.
Our next email is from Matthias.
Okay.
Which is a cool name.
It is.
It's not the name of the email address that was sent to us, but I'm going to use it anyway. Liar. But, Matthias writes, "Hey Jeff, hey Josh."
Hi.
Hey. Of the many things I might ask about this movie, he put it in quotes.
Alright, you're already winning me over, Matthias.
The one thing that bothers me most is this. Nero flew back in time and waited for Spock's ship to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
His motivation was to get revenge for the supernova, which Spock did not prevent in time to save Romulus. Why the fuck did he not just fly home and warn the Romulans that this catastrophe was going to happen? Even if he waited for Spock, he'd still have over 100 years to warn them. I guess it's the classic problem with time travel plots, just like in Back to the Future, where they always seem to forget that they have a fucking time machine.
Yeah, does he go... See, but like that's like the fundamental flaw with this movie, and it's not a time travel flaw, it's a reboot flaw. Because they're in an entirely different universe. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't even matter if Romulus gets exploded or not. Who cares?
Yeah, his Romulus is gone.
Yeah. He's not even from here. Nobody's from this universe. It's just another stupid thing that's happening. It's hell. This is like hell. It is. It's like fucking pushing a rock up a mountain and it rolls down again. That's what this is.
This is Sisyphus.
It's fucking bullshit. This movie sucks.
Also, do you think the Federation warns the Romulans after the movie ends, or do you think they're kind of dicks and wait for the Romulans to figure out for themselves
the
that
next
their sun
movie
is fucking exploding?
The next movie, they fucking dress like Nazis, so who the fuck even knows?
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about that shit.
Oh my god, I don't even have it in me right now, but Jesus.
Yeah, it's gonna get rough.
Again, it doesn't matter. because it's not the same Romulus. So who's to say that the Hobus system even blows up, right? Because who knows?
I just think this is how Spock dies, though, right? He goes into another dimension and dies.
Well, he dies like in like kind of like a how Zephyr Cochrane just vanishes, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knows what happened to him.
He just disappeared one day, and everybody's like, "Well, Spock's gone."
Yep. I guess he went somewhere.
Vulcans live a real long time, but I guess he died.
Rip. Good thing all his friends are dead already.
Yeah. Fuck.
That would suck.
Wait, maybe. Is Scotty dead? Because he was the same age as he was in Star Trek 6.
Yeah. I would say he's probably dead. Because James Doohan is dead, so...
Everybody's dead.
Yeah. Except
there's that image of Shatner sitting at the table with Bones and Spock and Scotty laughing, and then the image of him sitting at the table by himself.
It's sad.
That just fucking makes me so sad.
I know. But they excluded the alive people from that photo. There's a couple alive people, yeah.
Whatever. You know what?
He doesn't want to talk to Chekhov. He doesn't want to talk to...
Nobody wants to talk to Chekhov. I'm kidding. He's a lovely man. But thanks everybody for writing in. Thanks everybody for listening.
Oh yeah.
If you'd like to write in and have your email read on the air on our live television program, you can send an email to mclassemail@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Twitter at mclasspodcast.
And subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, and leave us... You can if you want to. If you really would like to, you can leave us a review on iTunes.
It helps out a lot, so you can do that.
You can tell us...
It doesn't have to be it can be whatever.
Yeah, you can tell us we suck dick, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all. You can find us on iTunes, you can find us on SoundCloud, and you can find us on YouTube. Please tell your friends.
And your parents. Like I said, they love podcasts.
Tell your grandparents.
They certainly know how to use iTunes.
They know what a podcast is.
Is that one of them iPods?
Yeah, actually.
That's not why they call it that. Did I tell you this already?
You did tell me that.
Yeah, that's probably weird. In the last episode. It is weird.
You know what? Thank you to everyone for doing all the things.
Yeah.
Live long and send money.
Sure did.
See you next time.